So welcome aboard. It's the penultimate weekend of live cyclo-cross racing here on GCN Racing. It's the 8th and final round of the Telenet Superprestige series. Today we are live from Middelkerke, the Noordzeecross as it's called. 5 points separating the top two overall in the Elite Women's Championship. The last round in Merckxplas was cancelled due to the weather. Not raining today, but it is absolutely blowing a hoolie in Middelkerke. Let's remind ourselves of the Superprestige series so far. What a season it has been. So many battles between Celine Del Carmen Alvarado and Anna-Marie Hurst in the races so far. Deegan, that night race, what an evening we had there. But it's Alvarado, Elise and Castelline in the general classification. Now, one rider who we followed very closely this season and of course for the past 2 seasons here on GCN Racing is ex-Spurs's Anna Kay, who's had an outstanding season. I took a little opportunity to catch up with her just before her last weekend's racing. Anna, we looking at Middelkerke today, and you've had a look at the course, not one you've ridden yet. What are you expecting for today?
So yeah, I haven't rode it before, but I've looked at a few videos, and it looks pretty twisty. Some banks, like quite steep. There's a bit of sand because it's quite near the coast. But yeah, it looks quite like a fun course, so it should be good.
And in terms of objectives for this one today, what are you hoping to achieve out of this one? We're getting to the end of the season now.
No, I don't really have like really high expectations, but like a top 10 would be really, really good, just to be like in the mix at the start. But most like just to enjoy it as well. It's the last few races, so I may as well just have fun while I'm doing it.
Well, we're going to enjoy watching you. Have a great day. We'll speak to you later. Anna Kay there, we caught up with her. We'll have a little chat before Holson. We also had a little interview. We will have a kind of post-season cyclo-cross review. So I just caught up with her for a longer interview for that one. Jeremy Powers is with me. Don't panic, me waffling away on my own. Welcome, Jeremy. Middelkerke today. A race and a course that you've ridden many times. What can we expect today?
Yeah, definitely. Always up on the Noordzeecross, as Middelkerke is typically called. Very windy, traditionally cold affair. I remember doing this race in the snow when it was a little bit earlier in the year. I've watched this race happen many times since I've retired, and it is definitely anyone that's got any gas left in the tank is going to be looking to use that today because, Marty, we're getting towards the end of the season, man.
Let's have a look at the general classification going into today's race. As I said, there's 5 points separating the top two overall between Celine Del Carmen Alvarado, Yara Castelline, Anna-Marie Hurst there with 65 points. Looking at form, she'd have to have a pretty disastrous day today to lose that jersey or lose that title.
Yeah. Yeah, she would. She would. She would. There would have to be a lot that would have to happen here. I don't know that it's even really possible given everything that we know. I think that at this point she's looking to Alvarado's really looking to solidify. She's been really good in this series all year long. She's won several races already from the outright. I felt like Anna Marie Worst had looked at this one and said, I she just had a problem after problem after problem in these super prestige races, and that's kind of how it goes as a pro. You look at the series that you're doing well in, and then as things develop, you say, okay, I'm going to focus on the super prestige. But if things didn't go well there, then focus on the DVV or the World Cup. So every rider looks to take one of these top steps on the podium, whether that's the World Championships, the DVV, the B-Post, the Etias. There's so many different cyclocross series now to be able to be a part of and to win. They all have their different levels of prestige. This one is the super prestige. So it must have the most. It has a lot of prestige if it is the super prestige.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the start list riders that we can expect to see up there today. And really, it's the usual suspects. The Celine Del Carmen Alvarado straight into winning groove in that rainbow jersey. Sanne Cant potentially is going to be, you would say, disappointed at the Worlds. Can she finish the season with a flurry?
It's definitely on. I mean, it's not unheard of. You know, Sanne Cant is a big rider. She has a lot of. She holds her head up high regardless because she's three-time world champ. So, you know, the other riders on there, Alice Arzoufi also looking to finish out her season. Took a win in this series earlier in the year. So there's a lot of good riders on the start list today.
There is indeed. Now, before we go to the start line, don't forget to subscribe to GCN Racing. Loads of great live cycling coming up this year. In fact, after you've watched the cyclocross, don't go anywhere during the cyclocross, but you can watch Dan and Carlton Kirby bringing you stage 3 of Tour de la Provence. Just give it a subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Hit that bell icon so that you're notified every time we go live or upload a new video. That means you won't miss anything. So get subscribing, and also give us a thumbs up on our live broadcasts as well, because we can have 5, 10. We've had over 20,000 live viewers so far in cyclocross this winter. So if you can hit that thumbs up button as well, that really helps as well, because we're doing some special things here in the cyclocross. The riders are down on the start, just getting ready, and you can see the wind blowing across the course. All the kids out, as always. They get an opportunity to ride around the course a little bit later on. Going through that final preparation, Shirin Van Anrooy. I've got her in. She's got her junior world champions jersey there, Jeremy. Shirin Van Anrooy. I'm gonna stick my neck right out here. I think it could be another good podium today for Shirin Van Anrooy.
Yeah,
not really going out, you know.
It's a good course for her. I think these, you know, this course very similar to Lille, where we watched last weekend. You know, a lot of short, punchy, off camber. In the past, when I raced it, very slippery sections, as we see the world champ there getting her gloves all squared away. And you know, there's a lot of snap in this course. So someone like Van Anrooy definitely has a big chance. Again, Inge van der Heijden on the front row there. I think that she's hungry at the end of the year. I think she really wants to. She doesn't feel like she has to, you know, uphold that world championship jersey that she won in the under 23s. She's been on a good tear of form. She's been in the top 3, mixing it up at the front. So, you know, that another rider that definitely has a shot at today and could be a great course for them. Very dry. She likes it fast. So we'll see what happens.
Success on the says on the bike there of Joe Blankart. Yeah, just everyone has their own little things on their bikes. Let's run you through some of the other riders you can watch out for. On our graphic there, you saw the likes of Rebecca Faringer, Alicia Franks going well for our Italian fans, as well as Eva Lechner and Alicia Maria Arzoufi. You also have Rebecca Garibaldi, who's also been looking pretty good as of late. Stephanie Poel from Germany. You've got Emily Werner from the USA, Michelle Gagan from Ireland, Corey Coogan-Cesek also from the USA, Pauline Delhay from France for our French viewers, and Anna Kate, we saw there from Great Britain, Marion Norbert Rieberol, Ishbel Strathgy from Edinburgh Road Club, and Laura Greenheld is also in there, 47 and 49. Eva Lechner looking resplendent in her Italian national champions jersey. Inge van der Heijden alongside her. Van der Heijden's been going well recently as well, and behind there You got Alicia Maria Azufi. Here's your world champion, Celine Del Carmen Alvarado. Los Sales, Mount Captains just behind her. There's Rebecca Farringer just behind Anna-Marie Hurst here. Yara Castelline, number 8, the European champion, looking good in that jersey. There's Alicia Frank alongside Marion Norbert Riberol. Sanne Cant in that Belgian national champions jersey. Getting a little close-up there of the tyre choice. Anna Kay, number 35. Manon Bakker, you can see there, number 36 in the plain black skin suit now. Ellen Van Looy is their number 9. So the riders poised and ready for the off. Irene Gerritsen, the lights are red. Watch the lights. The final round of the Telenet Superprestige series. Where will it go? Will it be another victory for Celine Del Carmen Alvarado? She won it from Los Sales and Sanne Cant 12 months ago. And they are away straight down the centre. Yara Castelline, Anna-Marie Hurst looking to try and get a good start. Straight out of the blocks here. Hurst, and you can see the riders battling against the wind. Marion Norbert Riberol moving up. Shirin Van Anrooy right behind Ava Lechner here, and it's a left turn at the end of the straight, and it's Ava Lechner that gets the whole shot through the first corner. Alicia Maria Azufi just getting, looked like getting delayed there right at the start, so not a great start again from the Italian. Dropping down this steep bank, Ava Lechner leading off. Jeremy, right, we were chatting before we came on air, and Ava Lechner, someone that you were bigging up before we even came on air today.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I have the faith in Ava Lechner. I think she's got a great head on her shoulders. I've met her many times when she raced for the Cliff Bar Pro team. She would come over to the United States often and do a lot of racing with her teammate at that time, Katarina. Looks like we've got a crash in the back. Oh no, a broken shoe, Marty. That is not good. Maybe one of those dials has rusted off. We also see the CCC Live rider there trying to make their way through all that traffic. This is an unfortunate reality in cyclocross. These things happen where it's just not possible. I don't know what is going on there. Maybe just a rock in the shoe or something.
I love how she just left her bike in the middle of the course there as well. It's like,
you're not really thinking clearly when you're at that point. But
no.
As you see here, this race on the lower sections has a lot of ruts, but definitely Ava Lechner here leading this race out, followed up by the world champion Celine Del Carmen Alvarado. Van Alphen is leading now. We've got Anna-Marie Hurst there in this front 4 quartet.
Shirin Van Anrooy here from Trek, the Telenet Baloise Alliance team. She will be joining. She's got that new World Champions Trek bike that they've tricked out for her. Anna Kay, Rebecca Farringer, Ellen Van Looy. Just going through your picture there. Karen Verheystraten just going through right now, just ahead of Manon Bakker and Yara Castelline. Pretty far back at the moment. So is Sanne Cant, who's just in front of Veerle Huysens. So not a great start as Anna-Marie Hurst just comes up alongside Shirin Van Anrooy. So the junior world champion showing how well she's finishing the season. Just 17 years old is Van Anrooy. Great start here from Rebecca Farringer, Jeremy.
Absolutely. It's awesome to see. I think, I think about all these riders having done these long seasons, but at this point, I think back to sitting in my little camper with Rebecca Farringer, getting an interview for the podcast just before the national championships, where she had a great ride. This is great to see her making this front group. She's made the effort to be over there. She said it was the freshest that she had been when I had chatted with her as they go through this long sand pit, carving up these ruts, Marty, that she was really excited to finish out this season over in Europe, where Anna-Marie Hurst decides that she's going to take over and try to ride this section. Oof, Van Anrooy having a hard time getting up that. That is a steep embankment, Marty, that this Middelkerke track, the Race of the North here, is known for. There's a lot of these little tricky off-camber drops, ditches, and things like that. Definitely a unique cyclocross that has all the features today.
You just saw, and that gave the advantage here to Anna-Marie Hurst, and as we've seen all season, she doesn't need a second invitation to attack. Has a little glance back over the shoulder. Alvarado with Van Anrooy just trying to close that gap down now. Both of these riders know that they cannot let the 777 rider go up the road, as they say. 4 seconds is the gap. Straight on her is Alvarado, and those little minute little errors that can sometimes just creep in into your racing. But Shirin van Anrooij, she's got to be, you'd say, one of the riders of the season, as the rider there wearing number 34. And I think Jeremy already benefiting from the sort of advice around the race from Sven Nys.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no question that she and Sven Nys are talking often. They're definitely talking about everything that's going into her, what she's doing now, because I think that they see an opportunity not just to develop Shirin van Anrooij, but also to boost her up right now. There's an opportunity here immediately for them to all capitalize. They have similar interest in Trek. Sven wants this rider to have a lot of confidence, and I mean, just the story of a 17-year-old winning against the best in the world is a fantastic. That's the storyline. I mean, if you can do that at 17, I'm shaking in my boots thinking about what she's going to be doing to the world of cyclocross.
Definitely. This leading trio, you can see a bit of a gap back now to Anna Kay. Anna Kay was looking forward to her final weekend of racing, and it's kind of a bit of mixed emotions sometimes for riders, isn't it? When you're a cross rider, getting towards the end of the season, thinking, I really need a break and a holiday, and the whole thing of as we are, cross coming to an end.
Well, it's so much fun to call, but it truly is a winter sport. If you've raced cyclocross in the summertime, it is not very enjoyable. There's not a lot of wind moving through your jersey. There's not a lot of place to take cover. So this is a sport for the fall and the winter. It's a sport of mud, sand, nastiness. It is the hard person's side of the sport, and these women here that are chopping it up today are doing a good job at showcasing that, as Alvarado makes the pass with Annemarie Worst just taking that left line, not cleaning that entirely. So now it's Celine Del Carmen Alvarado as she brings back Annemarie Worst through that section there. She's now on the front, and she's dictating the pace of this one.
Up to the planks, Alvarado, your new world champion from Alpecin Fenix, gets the front. Van Anrooij, then we'll see Anna Kay behind. See if Anna Kay decides to hop the planks today. She has been so far this season. Van Anrooij makes it through there. They focus on there. Anna Kay is behind. Just bunny hopping those planks as the Experza rider kicks on here. Denise Betzemer is just ahead of Eva Lechner with Ellen Van Looy. Marion Norbert Rieberol just dismounting on that one. It seems that so far Anna Kay still sort of quite apart from the likes of Vannik van Alphen and Pat Pietersen that we see in various races. Anna Kay at this point, Jeremy, still the sort of only rider at the front of these races that's bunny hopping the planks, because I know Celine can bunny hop them. I've seen her doing it in practice.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the confidence isn't quite there yet to do it in a race scenario or what, but I do expect that as we've seen continue to climb up over the years, that the front women will be jumping barriers, and it's something that I know a lot of them are focusing on. I was talking to Annemarie Worst preseason in July, and she had said that she practices now. So I think as these women continue to be the headliners of cyclocross in the future, and really start to show their races live every single weekend, they're trying to improve their game and up their skill. It's a huge place to take a big amount of time back and to really up their game. So I think that there is going to be a lot of energy going into that. It is a very strange thing to do, to jump barriers. It seems so fluid when you watch it on television, but to actually do it, it is a skill set that I think takes and requires a lot of practice. So for the top women to be doing it, they're probably focused on their power and all the things that they have going on that go into their training, and that's not that is not the place where they find they can make the most time up. But these two here at the front, I do expect in the coming years we'll see them jumping the barriers or losing some time to some of the young and uppercomers that have made that the norm as they hop back up onto the road here for the start-finish straight in Middelkerke. You can see the wind whipping, Marty.
It is. It's very strong as Van Anrooij just remounts at the top of that one. Can she close down? Can she benefit here from Celine Alvarado and Annemarie Worst just having a little look around at each other? Anna Kay is not far away. Denise Betzemer is closing the gap down as well. Behind Eva Lechner with Van Looy. Van Anrooij just tucking in here, trying to close that one down. So it's 5 seconds is the gap from Worst and Alvarado. And then you go through Denise Betzemer at 12 seconds. Then Kay and Lechner going through. So they go through in 6th and 7th. Van Looy is in 7th, rather 5th and 6th. Norbert Rieberol with Castelline, Sales, Faringer, Bakker, and then the go back to Verhoeven and Verheestraten with Sanne Cant just going through, quite heavily strapped up on the knee there, Sanne Cant, and all the way down the leg.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe maybe some type of crash throughout the week when in training or something like that, or that potentially could be some type of knee issue. Although I would need to check the Belgian news outlets to find out exactly what's going on there. That is at best that's a lot of wrap. That's a lot of wrap on the leg that cannot feel great with kind of the movement and stuff. So there could be some type of like Achilles soleus thing going on there with her leg. I'm gonna have to get a better look at that to understand exactly what's going on with that one, Marty.
Yeah, Shirin van Anrooy, is she closing this one down? So 5 seconds, that gap going through the line. 11th is Rebecca Farringer, Maren Bakker, Van der Beek, and Verheestraten and Garibaldi. So the Italian rider that we mentioned, Rebecca Garibaldi, going through 51 seconds back to Sanne Cant. Alicia Maria Arzuffi is recovering slightly but from that bad start, but already 59 seconds down. Masha Mulder there in 18th, Inge van der Heijden in 19th, Veerle Hersens at 107, then Pauline Delhay just outside the top 20 on lap 2 here in Middelkerke. Looking back through the series so far, so Rudevorde, it was Alvarado from Sanne Cant and Katie Compton. A few of you asking where Katie Compton is, and she's finished her season now as Katie Compton. Then we went on to Zonhoven. It was Hurst that took that one from Alvarado and Castelline. Then we went on to the race we also had the races, of course, earlier on in the season in Heaton. It was Alvarado from Cant and Castelline, Zufien Bohm from Lechner and Sanne Cant. In Havre, it was Castelline from Arzuffi and Alvarado. Castelline, of course, having a phenomenal start to the season as Alvarado here kicks through the sand. Van Anrooy looked great the previous lap. Look at the junior world champion here in 3rd place as she powers to try and get back up to the leading duo. Hurst trying to do everything she can to not lose any time to the rider in front of her. Denise Betzemer here for Paushausen Bingal is a rider that's riding in 4th place. Gets out of there onto the steps as Alvarado runs up there, and Van Anrooy behind. She looked like the last lap, just where she lost that step. Quick feet here for Van Anrooy on those steps.
Definitely, yeah. She looks like she rode that section a little bit cleaner this time through the sand, able to bring a little bit of time back to the front runners there. Definitely looked like Alvarado, very, very stable in the sand. She's got that high front end. She's able to really use just kind of the consistency of her pedal stroke and her balance on the machine to be able to master that sand section. That definitely is throwing someone like Annemarie Worst, who's a little bit shorter on the bike. Her position's a little bit more set up like a mountain biker, whereas Alvarado's a little bit longer on the bike. Definitely got that longer European style fit going on, whereas Annemarie Worst definitely sits and has more posture of that shorter mountain biker. She suffers a little bit from that, and in the sand, it's always the kind of thing where you can't fake it. If you start to lose time by not being in one of the ruts, then you're going to have trouble just, every time. Annemarie has to put out more power to match Alvarado in that section. It's just one of those things where you don't look like an attack, but it is an attack. But we see here, Annemarie Worst now knowing that she's coming into another section that she wants to be on the front for, and she's going to make sure that Alvarado knows that she's not going anywhere today, Marty.
I love the rivalry between these two. It's been great. It's just been backwards and forwards all season. Brian Travis, thanks, Brian. I know he said earlier on when I was chatting about Sanne Cant, he was like, no, she's not going to do anything today, but we saw that strapping there from Sanne Cant. Thanks, Brian, for just pointing out. It said on Twitter that Sanne Cant racing against doctor's orders today. We'll look more into that. Thanks, Brian, for that. Your two leaders, Annemarie Worst and Celine Del Carmen Alvarado. Shirin van Anrooy is your 2nd place rider. Denise Betzemer here is in 4th. Thanks for all of you for getting on board over on the chat. Thanks for saying hi. Johan Dont from Greece. Freddie De Bruyne from Poland. Thanks for saying hi today. Just pick out a few of you around the world. Nathan Node watching from South Africa. Herr Yolunda, I hope I've said that right, from Turkey. Heiko from Germany getting on board is also Timo Springfield. Thanks for saying hi. So, yep, all of you, thanks for getting on board. Yes, you can watch Provence later, but you're not allowed to go anywhere until you finish watching the cyclocross. If you've been with us all season, remember, all of the races are available on demand, so you can go and just watch. We're up on 2, it'll take a while, so you can go and watch that. Once we're finished, there'll still be plenty of Provence left to watch, so you can stick with Jeremy and I on the cyclocross. These two. Worst Alvarado, great rivals. The former under-23 world champion, the current new elite world champion, Shirin Van Anrooy in third, still holding fast in this third spot behind. Maybe if Denise Betsema gets up to her, it might help her. It might help drag her back up towards the front as Betsema just loses that left foot as she tries to get the foot in. Apologies as well. I have to say the plastic cups blowing around in the midst. That's my next crusade. Let's get rid of some of the plastic from the amount of beer that's consumed here. We've got to have something compostable. Zoe Baxter checking in over on the YouTube chat. Thanks, Zoe, for getting on board. Our junior reporter does a great job out there on races, going out and interviewing riders as well as smashing it in the races. Matt Albert, thanks for saying hi from Berkshire, and Valadron back to us from Indonesia, and Larry Mars from Kentucky. Thanks for getting on board. Stick with us here on GCN Racing. Don't forget, subscribe, give us a thumbs up as well. Lap 2. Can anyone get up to these two at the head of the race? If they start to look at as the race goes on here, Jeremy, as the races so far this season, they do sometimes just start to look around at each other. Thus, Alvarado loses the feet there as she goes into the mud. No time lost though. Just kicks it round past the pits. But if they just start to look around at each other, the attacks, they're just sort of small and testing at this point. But sometimes it can allow those riders behind just to come back to them.
Definitely. I think that there's a little bit of I think that they're both kind of just right now checking up. They've got 15 minutes into this race. We're going to get a replay of this section here where Alvarado took a line that just sent it through where her balance point was off. She had her balance center, that line. She couldn't tell that the rut took it to the right for her a little bit. And then now we've got Anna Kay going over the barriers here, able to make it over, not hyper clean, but no problem getting through those. But yeah, for someone like Alvarado, that was just that was a shift of the body weight real quick, sending stuff to the other side to make sure that she overcompensated for the way that rut was taking her. But these two right now, Marty, are about 2 laps in. They're just taking a look at everything, trying to check up to see where the other rider's doing well. Like I said in the other races, they've studied each other so well. They know what they're doing. They know their strengths and weaknesses. Alvarado is going to be looking at that sand section. Anna Marie Worst is going to be looking at the off cambers as places to take some time back. So they each have their spots where they know which rider is going to do better in what scenarios. So they're just going to be about then playing the game, right? It's all about the chess and the checkers. Who wants to make it happen fast versus who wants to play the long game? And in cyclocross, with still about 25 plus minutes of racing left, these two have to. I think they're going to have to go, lap to lap to be able to see where the weaknesses are coming from.
Yeah, so 12 and 13 seconds, so about 7 seconds lost that lap for Shirin Van Anrooy. Ava Lechner is just ahead of Castelline here. Van Looy is just in front of Anna Kay, and then Norbert Riberola is going to come through in 9th, just ahead of Losels here. So 3 to go this time. So 16:22 is your time through the line. 3 laps to go for these riders. So 46:58, just over the minute separating those riders as they go through. So it's switch. Alvarado just gets kicked to the left there again. Will this be an opportunity for Anna Marie Worst to pounce on that one? But she's so quickly back into her stride. Zufi is in 14th, Sanne Cant for Haystrat, Inga van der Heijden is in 17th. Alvarado, a little bit of work today just to do to come back. Just a few little minute errors creeping in today, Jeremy.
That is the truth, Marty. That is the truth. I think Anna Marie now, you can see just the way that her body language is. She hears the problems, and you can see here, Alvarado, weirdly, just coming into these ruts, not quite hitting them on the spot. And when you're looking at it on TV, it looks so normal. But these courses, if you see that rut, it's very, very close to the side of the track. That's not good for riders. The riders don't want to hit their bars in those metal barricades. As you see now, Anna Marie Worst, there's a rut behind there that we can't see. So there are some very technical parts parts of this track that are making this a little bit tough for our current world champion, Celine Del Carmen Alvarado, having a tough time. But again, Marty, having to, sew up all these little gaps that have been happening. So Alvarado is going to take this one of two ways. She's going to try to get a tire pressure change because things just aren't linking up the exact way that she wants. Or two, she's going to try to ride this race from the front because she's getting frustrated by matching the pace of Anna-Marie Worst, and she's trying to take lines that she wouldn't have normally taken when she was in it. So we're going to see here now through the sand section exactly what's going to happen. As I said, Alvarado looked cleaner last lap. She does take back a little bit of time immediately, but Anna-Marie Worst definitely feeling that momentum from hearing the crowd cheer as she made that section clean last time, in Alvarado having those troubles. Anna-Marie Worst now having to get off to get through this section as the fatigue of the race sets in here in Middelkerke.
Through that sand, and that's a skill that's all cyclocross riders need to learn, that ability to power through that sand. Alvarado is back onto the blue steps here, and quickly up there for both of those. So far this season, we've seen some great battles. Just see for you American viewers, Corey Coogan Cisic going through there in 37th. But we would have said up until the last couple of races that Anna-Marie would have constantly been happy to take Alvarado to the line for a sprint. But I don't know about you, but what's been quite interesting to watch is looking at the different form cycles of riders as Denise Betsema just tries to close this gap back up to the leaders. But the difference in the form cycles and watching a rider who's been sort of bettered on multiple occasions, not only by Anna-Marie Worst, but Lucinda Brand on occasions as well. Go away, work on that sprint, work on that kick, working with the coaches, working on the tactics, and so you can see here just signaling to the pits. Oh, Alvarado having a little word in there. Do you think, Jeremy, could be the word there, as you were saying, about the tire pressures potentially?
That's it. That's exactly what I think is going on here, Marty. I think that definitely there's a little bit too high. That's what I was expecting. The rider wants to take a change because she's just not getting there. But Anna-Marie Worst doing it. Oh, we got a shoe down. Anna-Marie Worst now. This is cyclocross, Marty. This is exactly what it is. Another rider having a problem and then capitalizing from that problem. The unique scenario where Alvarado needs to take a shoe. Not always the case, but she had a spare pair. The consummate professional having a spare pair of shoes ready to go. Something going on with this course where they're running maybe downhill, people having a lot of problems with their shoes. Sometimes the BOA adjuster, the thing that the device that tightens up the shoe can get some rocks or something in it, not able to tighten, the shoe is loose. So something going on there with Alvarado. Decides, I need a shoe. So she yells over, get the shoe ready. She must have made a little note. What do we got here, Marty? Let's take another look at this.
You can see just yelling to the pit crew just to let her know that she needs her shoe. She's got an issue with that one, and to be able to go into the pits to be able to change the shoe. Something that we've seen quite a lot. Those can go back to 3 Velcros or a ratchet, Jeremy. I think some quite a few riders at the moment.
That's not Anna-Marie's fault, though, is it, Marty? She's got to take this race. She's got to look at this, and she's got to go for it. She's got this opportunity with Betsema now breathing down her throat. It's going to be Alvarado's job to try to make up time here, something that the world champion is able to do. She was, truthfully, in my opinion, Marty, riding a little bit under her ability. So I have this feeling that she's going to be able to regain and lock horns with Anna-Marie Worst. I feel like Anna-Marie Worst today is really pushing hard on the pedals to be able to get through this one. She does not look like she's on her best day, as we see Betsema here now coming in. This is going to be an interesting battle if these three link up and bring it all together, as we see now Alvarado coming through. Let's see how this section looks. If she it looks like she is running just a traditional Grifo tire, not the big mud tire. So able to get that new shoe on there, feeling comfortable again, as you see Anna-Marie Worst here now trying to apply pressure when the stakes are high. Betsema also trying to do damage control, bring this race back in, solidify her spot on the podium, and then it's Celine Del Carmen Alvarado who's got to make up for that potentially tire pressure issue, as well as a broken shoe today.
This is why we love our little sport of cyclocross. the drama that plays out on these races. Your leader, Anna-Marie Huest, kicks it over the top of that bridge there. I think we might see a few riders showboating over there a bit later on if we get an opportunity. But Huest is attacking the course now. We're on lap 3 of 5. It's Huest from Betsema. It's leading here at this stage of the race. Just had a message on Twitter from Andy Lay. Thanks, Andy. Just to let you know that he's just sent a message. He's involved with the Dublin World Cup cyclocross race, and Ireland is super excited to be hosting a round. Still a developing nation in cyclocross, but they will be a warm Irish welcome to the world of cyclocross. That is going to be some party. If you want to put a cyclocross in your diary, get to Dublin. That will be a celebration all round, I am sure. Betsema goes in to the pits. Alvarado slides out again through that corner there, and maybe a little tyre change potentially. So you can see the maximum slide ability from the world champion today. But Anna-Marie Huest just dismounts through that section and back onto the bike for the road before they kick it up to the line. It's quite an unusual little run up to the line here, isn't it? To force the riders off. We have it in Deegan with the steps, don't we?
Definitely, yeah. There's, like I said here, Marty, there's a lot of little off cameras, a lot of little technical sections. There's so much going on here. When I raced it, I remember being surprised. Sven Nys showed up one time, and I said this in the last time we broadcast this race, but he showed up to this race. It was all ice, and he showed up on slicks. And I remember asking him, what are we doing here? And he said, I'm training. And I was like, well, at that time, it wasn't a serious race. It was a different thing. It was a smaller event. It was just getting going, I think, at least for them, for their curse period, as I remember. I have to look back at exactly the date. But long story short, I remember him navigating all of these off cameras, these drops, these huge ditches that we would have to go through, followed by these very steep sections that were really challenging. He was doing it in the ice on slicks, and always remember that as being one of those moments. So as we see here, like I said, Marty, Alvarado able to take that setback in stride. Looks like she's on a really good day today. She looks like she's riding high from being able to have won that world championship title. Riding in those rainbows that everyone says it gives you another gear. It gives you another level of depth that you can't imagine. The adoration, the respect that you have not only from your competitors but from the press and the media and the fans that are out there. It really propels these riders. So yes, she's had a setback, but now you can see she's riding her own pace. She's hitting those ruts, still not very comfortable, but almost within 5-8 minutes, able to bring back the gap that Anna-Marie Huest had, and Alvarado had that shoe change. So we're going to have to see the attrition, though. Is she able to keep this up now that she's going to bring Anna-Marie Huest back? That's what we're going to find out.
Yeah, she is. I call it the red mist when this happens. When you get setbacks like Selena's had in this one, sometimes that red mist comes down, doesn't it? It's just something that just turbocharges the adrenaline and everything just gets going and really sort of inspires you to pull it back. And here's a little close-up there of Sanne Cant with that heavy strapping on the left leg, just ahead of Inga van der Heijden. And Sanne, Jeremy, I think this season might have been a bit of a wake-up for the world champion. We're so used to her dominance, aren't we? We've almost had a sort of seismic shift of generations in a way, but Sanne Cant will go away, take some notes from this season, work on what she feels she needs to work on for next season, and come back again.
Yeah, of course. I mean, one season doesn't define a career. So, yeah, the Sanne Cant definitely has the loyalty of so many people. She really has, shaped how this sport looks and feels, and really is the face of women's cyclocross for the last decade plus. So to be able to see her as Anna-Marie Huest now makes it through that section, Alvarado coming through. Definitely with someone like Sanne Cant, she's going to take a lot of notes. She's going to be hungry. She's going to want to come back. Here we go again. Alvarado now feeling the effects of trying to bring back Anna-Marie Huest in one lap. But again, going back to Sanne Cant, I think that she's definitely going to look back at the season and say it's one that, she's probably happy to have been a part of all the races, but I'm sure she would have liked to have done a little bit better. And as far as today, I think for the overall for Sanne Cant is the reason that she starts. You know, she's here, I believe, she's up at the top of the rankings, Marty. I don't know exactly, but to want to take that, to keep in the overall of a series, you know, that's the reason to do it. And I think that, truthfully, being in Belgium with this race today, she also wants to show off that Belgian tricolor.
Does, and you just saw Celine grabbing a handful of barrier on that steep bank, but again makes it back up to Annemarie Hurst. Hurst is dictating the pace here for 777. All of these little efforts and these chases, these are using the magic energy beans, as Katie Archibald always likes to describe them as. We call them as burning matches, but all these micro efforts and big chases that Alvarado is having to do at the front, where Annemarie is just being able to ride her own race and dictate the pace, dictate the lines. Alvarado behind it she's just fighting a battle with the demons of adversity today.
Yeah, it's, you know, this is one of those races again where I think that both of these riders are putting out a lot of energy. You can't see it because it looks like it's a fast track. It looks like there's not a ton, but really there's a lot of on and off the bike here. You know, very similar to Lilla, where we saw, you know, last weekend. There's a lot of on and off the bike. There's a lot of running. There's a lot of very steep sections which require an exorbitant amount of power output. Even this section right here, Marty, there's a lot of big spikes of power. So you have to have a lot of strength. Then there's this tricky off-camber stuff. You see here, Betsema got her leg out doing that John Tomac, trying to just get through that section that so that if she crashes on that side, she's got her leg out because it's so steep. And then you've got another steep section as they come in here. It's just these sections have a lot of power output that are required. You can see the fans there in the back corner, not even able to stand on the sidelines without having to hold on to the bars. So the steepness of these banks, the sand that's been put in, the ruts that exist, it doesn't look like it because it's not a true mutter with things everywhere. But the reality is that this course requires a lot from the athletes today.
It does indeed. Annemarie Hurst is just content to dictate the pace at the front of this one. Oh, and just going down, looks like Jolien Verschuren just going down on that corner. Delays her teammate behind. Normally riders are pulled before they get lapped. So we're just going down there on the corner. The Poel Bingo rider just delayed her teammate just a touch there. Alvarado moves up alongside as Betsema gets back in here. So when we were here 12 months ago, it was the rider there from Poel Bingo that was the winner, but that was one of her victories that was taken away after that doping positive. The results are all showing from second place down for those races. And it was Alvarado, Sanne Cant, Verdonschot, Lechner, Castellijn, Hurst, Van der Heijden and Van der Beek, and that was the top 10 last year. If you're just joining us, welcome aboard. We're going to get the bell when we get back to the line. The general classification was Alvarado from Castellijn and Hurst. So Alvarado here in terms of the general classification, what a season she is having, taking this one. But she also leads in the under-23 classification from Inge van der Heijden and Shirin van Anrooy. Again, when we say from Shirin, just 17 years old, that is a great finish in third. Bakker, Van Alphen, Kay, Norbert Riebold, Petersen, Flynn and Troy. And that is the top 10 in that under-23 classification. Over the top of the bridge, as we said, it is a really windy today, 35 to 41 km/h southwesterly winds, about 12 degrees Celsius. That's about 54 degrees Fahrenheit for the riders. But we've got a trio now that are starting to look around at each other a little bit more, Jeremy, this front group.
Definitely, they're starting to look at each other. I mean, there's not a lot of racing left now, so these opportunities here to kind of make something stick are going down as we see. It looks like Norbert Riebold here having a trouble just getting a little bit crisscross into that line. That is one of those sections we saw. Unfortunately, that's maybe what happened there. As you see, Sanne Cant giving the respect there, just letting that rider get their bike and themselves together. But that's where we saw the issue where Jolien Verschuren had fallen, and then Annemarie kind of just rode into that. Whoops, hey, because there's looks like there's a big drop into that sandbar there. but it's now all in the front, Marty. We've got this last lap here just to come through. It looks like there is not a lot left for these riders to pick out where they're going to attack. This is the first time that we've seen Betsema take the front with these two riders in the race. So now we've got a real situation on our hands. Is Alvarado and Anna Marie Worst going to let Betsema get the momentum after coming back after her doping ban to be able to come to the front of this race? Is definitely a big deal here in Middelkerke.
This could come down to the sprint. We're going to go down to the bell this time, but it could come down to just who gets their feet in the fastest. If you get the trio coming in together, Sharon Van Anrooy just dismounts there up the bank, but lap this time. So 3 leaders as they go through the line. Sharon Van Anrooy, the final lap here, 33 minutes and 16 seconds was your time gap going through. Sharon, as the gap went out on previous laps, looks like she's closing down just a touch now. Is Van Anrooy. Castelline, again, we've got to say about Yara Castelline here, going down in the park cross in Maldaham, fracturing the protrusions, if that's the right word, if I'm not just making up words here, on her vertebrae, but cleared to ride. They're not going to shift. She was cleared to ride by the doctors if she wanted to. She, again, even with that, there's got to be a lot of pain there.
Definitely, but again, in the overall, this is the last race. She's sitting in second overall to Celine Del Carmen Alvarado's 81 points, Yara Castelline's at 76 points, and Anna Marie Worst at 65. Then I was talking about Sanne Cant. After that is Alice Maria Arzoufi with 62, and then it's Sanne Cant with 61 points. So a lot of these riders thinking, yeah, okay, we're running on fumes, but there is a lot left here in the season. We want to, solidify these overall spots. But you see, Marty, there's a lot of fighting right now with Betsema. As we saw coming around one of those corners, Celine Del Carmen Alvarado and Betsema linking up. Betsema trying to take the inside line earlier on one of these sections. Alvarado not having any of it. You see Anna Marie now with Alvarado pushing the pace. Anna Marie Worst trying to get right on terms. Betsema breathing down Anna Marie Worst's neck right now, trying to get past to show these riders that she's back and she wants to be on the front of this race. But Alvarado not having any of it as she looks to carve this one up and take a opportunity here as they come into this sandy section, Marty.
This is the final lap. Alicia Frank just going through 19. Mashka Mulder there in 20th. Your top 10 does shift and change a little bit. Betsema Hurst, Alvarado in the front. Van Anrooy, Castelline, Lechner, Van Looy, Kay, Van der Heijden and Sanne Cant was your top 10. Going through the line at this time, is it going to come down to a kick from this one? Can anyone get away? The world champion, Celine Del Carmen Alvarado, the leader and winner-elect now of the Telenet Superprestige Series overall for both elite and the under-23s. It was Anna Marie Hurst that won the last round in Diegem, of course, in Merkplatz, as we said at the top of the show, that was cancelled due to the weather. But the world champion pressing on here, the issues, the problems, the broken shoe, little efforts that she had to do to come back constantly to the front. And can she kick on through the sand here? She has had the better of worse through this section, Jeremy, so far. Can she get clean through there and perhaps just open up a little gap? She's just opening a few meters here. Hurst potentially on the back foot as Alvarado kicks on through there. She gets cleanly up at this time. Hurst comes back. Betsema has to hand sling off the barrier to come back. Now it's advantage to Alvarado, but Hurst comes back.
So that was one of the combinations that I was talking about there, where Alvarado trying to get through that section, but Worst able to muscle up that section a little bit cleaner and take that disadvantage of going through that sandpack. So now, Marty, I expect that Anna Marie Worst is going to try to take the front here to try to be able to use that off-camber section where she's been a little bit stronger to be able to try to put the world champion under pressure and take a small gap and not take this one to the line.
There we go. It might come down to who can get those feet back in at the that little bank just before that's the kick to the line. Your leaders, Alvarado, Hurst and Betsema. So Phoenix Alpecin, 777 and Paul Sausen Bingo are your teams represented at the front as they just drop down through that bank section, swing around to the right. Alvarado still has the lead. Anna Marie Hurst will want to get back into the front. The last couple of races will be potentially, you would think, be playing on her mind. Alvarado has improved her sprint as the season's gone on. We are into the final few races of the cyclocross season. Who can finish on a high? And you see the face of Annemarie Horst just looking to the left there as they go up there. Everyone dismounts. They're all, it's a game of poker at the front here.
It is, Marty. It is. The butterflies are definitely in their stomachs. It's time to perform and lay it on the line for Annemarie Horst. She's hunting right now for this elusive victory. She didn't get it at the World Championship. She wanted it. She tried in Lille, wasn't able to take the sprint from the current world champion, Celine Del Carmen Alvarado. As they come into this off-camber section, I expected to see Annemarie Horst try to come through there, but she's definitely looks like she's going to try to match Alvarado and let Alvarado lead from the front here as they come back to finish off this last lap. But definitely, Marty, you got to be thinking about the pressure that Annemarie Horst is feeling right now. The replay of all of these sprints that she's had with the current world champion, with Alvarado, he has to be thinking about that as something that she's nervous about. It's time to perform. All of this training, all of the things that she's gone into throughout the year, she wants to be able to take another victory before this season's out. So she's playing it very patiently. She's using the maturity of a rider that's been at the front all season long. I give her a lot of credit there, and we're going to see if she takes an opportunity to regain the front of this race and put the world champion under some pressure as they come into this section here. Both riders cleanly going through that. Betsema slightly off there, that as that rut has really developed there. It's going to be an interesting one for the men's races, Marty.
It is. You saw that off-camber section there. Denise Betsema lost the pace. She hasn't had the measure of that section. It's been these two riders, the riders you would say of the season. So many battles as Denise Betsema tries to come back up to them. Kicking on here, Alvarado and Horst.
Back into the pedals. It is a heavy section there as they get off. It's a you got to get on just for a second. And like I said, Marty, you're getting right back off the bike. And Annemarie Horst not missing a step. Boom, back on the bike for Alvarado. Boom, back on the bike for Annemarie Horst. Now just both two locked together in this head-to-head battle as they come down to the just about 40 minutes of racing so far. And here we go back to this steep section. Can they muscle through this one? Yes, they can. Coming back up, Betsema's now right back onto this, the lead three here as they come into this steep section. Can they ride this one clean? No problem for the world champion. Annemarie Horst able to match it. And now Betsema with a grimace on her face as they come into this steep off camber again.
Through that section, Alvarado's got the front, leading out on this one. Annemarie Horst, Betsema has made the chase to get back in. Will it go to the world champion? Will it go to Annemarie Horst? They're looking around at each other. Betsema comes over the top. Alvarado's got the front. Maybe Annemarie fancies just letting Alvarado have the front of this one and then try and get the advantage in the sprint. Is anyone going to try and attack now on this final lap? The world champion wearing number 1 kicks through that section, has a little glance across. You can see the flags are blowing in the wind here as the Poel Sauzen rider makes a little error there, just gets kicked across to the left. That was the section there that we saw Celine Del Carmen Alvarado have a similar issue earlier on in the race. She's battled back constantly, as you can see the mechanics just giving a shout there as Annemarie Horst now just moves alongside her. Does she? Alvarado chooses that line. Betsema elbows out there to Annemarie. She's right on the wheel now of Celine Del Carmen Alvarado. You see the way that the flags is as Annemarie Horst now makes a move. She wants the front. Alvarado battles back though. It's going to come down to the dismount and who can get their feet in on the top of this one. Does Alvarado have the front? Who can get clipped in the quickest and get into the gears? Then and now Celine Del Carmen Alvarado kicks on. Annemarie Horst got a battle to come back. She's not going to make it. Alvarado has a look back. It's going to be victory in the Telenet Superprestige Series overall, and a victory here in Middelkerke. Betsema comes over the top of Annemarie Horst there. The psychological battle as big as the physical one here on the final round, but the world champion finishing the season with a flourish as Shirin van Anrooy comes over the top of that one. What a sprint, Jeremy.
Definitely a sprint, yeah, and it looked like Anna-Marie Worst there playing a little bit of her card there to try to kind of juke it at the finish to maybe just create some crazy stuff going on so that someone had to do something. As you see there, Sharon Van André happy with her 4th place, as she should be, 17-year-old coming in, and then it was Ava Lechner coming in for 5th place, the Italian champion riding for the Craven Fridstad's program. Awesome to see her there with a hand up. Very happy with that ride today. But what a finish, Marty. It was very, very good to see Alvarado know exactly how she had to play that. She threw down right in that last section. That's a hug there from her family. It's I would say that overall she played that to a T perfectly. Anna-Marie Worst, just like I said, did not look like she was on her best day today. Ended up coming in 3rd to Denise Betsema there. And you see here Yara Castelline happy to take that 6th place and solidify that 2nd place overall in the standings here for the year-long for this year-long effort that they've all been putting out there. Ellen Van Looy coming through with a hand in the air. Everybody really happy with their season so far, Marty.
Yeah, we're getting into the final weekend for some riders. We still have Leuven to go next week. Your top 10 so far: Alvarado, Betsema, Horst, Van Anrooy, Lechner, Castelline, Van Looy, Van der Heijden, Kate, and Sanne Cant coming in here just ahead of Alicia Maria Arzuffi and Marion Norbert Riberola. So the tricolor jersey there of Sanne Cant. As you just go through, is that Van der Beeken just coming around the corner? So Marion Norbert Riberola, the under-23 world champion, the elite champion of France, just coming in as just ahead of Joyce van der Beeken. You can see former Belgian champion. She's got the Belgian champ stripes on the kit. Manon Bakker, of course. Let go is probably a polite way of saying from her team, Expers, and now riding in plain black skin suit. So hopefully a team will pick her up for next season. Lowe's Sells just coming in ahead of Rebecca Garibaldi, so the Italian having a good day out. So Lowe's Sells comes through for 15th, Garibaldi for 16th. Then you've got Rebecca Farringer here, who's just going to get into a sprint with Alicia Frank. So another Expers rider here battling it out with Rebecca Farringer from Kona.
It's a good race for Rebecca Farringer. Awesome to see her finishing out a season where she's traveled so much, been across so many times across the pond, back and forth, racing all over the United States. You know, the United States, such a big country, so it's just great to be able to see her out there finishing off this one, getting in those last races. I think last year she had said she felt like she grew a lot from being able to race in Europe so much, and really doing these end of the season races was fun for her and kept the wind in the sails. So nice to see her out there really pushing and fighting for this here in these last races of the cyclocross season.
Apparently I've got a sign, Jeremy.
Really?
Out on the course, look.
that is incredible.
How funny is that? Here's Celine.
Ja, dag 7 het eindklassement. Ja, heel tof.
Heel tof. Ik weet nog dat je in het begin van het seizoen tegen mij zei: ik hoop dat ik de Superprestige kan winnen bij de belofte. Wel, het is wel wat meer geworden dan dat.
Ja, inderdaad. Het is allebei. Dubbelop, ja.
Vertel eens je wedstrijd van vandaag. Je had even die problemen met je schoen, maar je kwam heel snel terug. Wat was er precies aan de hand?
Nou, dat was werkdag vandaag. Ik knalde tegen een hek aan, waardoor mijn schoen zeg maar bleef hangen. En die knop waar je aan vast aan draait, die schoot helemaal los. Dus ik kon hem ook niet meer terug vastmaken. En toen versnelde Annemarie en ik probeerde nog wel het gat zo klein mogelijk te houden voor de achtervolging. En ik schreeuwde toen naar de post dat mijn schoen kapot was. En welke kant het was, maar dat hoorden ze weer niet.
De vuur die kwam er even uit, hè?
Ja, toen werd ik echt een beetje boos. Want het moest allemaal heel snel gebeuren. Maar uiteindelijk liep het allemaal wel heel vlot. En toen moest ik in de achtervolging gaan.
En dan was er die sprint opnieuw. En voor de 3e keer op rij haal jij het tegen Annemarie Worst.
Ja, we moesten daar allemaal van de fiets af. Dus ik dacht, als ik daar als eerste overheen kom, dan heb ik het voordeel dat ik als eerste ingeklikt zit. En dat deed ik en toen kwam ik als eerste voor de streep.
Het lijkt ook wel alsof jij nu een beetje dat mentale voordeel wel hebt door die afgelopen sprints die jullie tegen elkaar gereden hebben.
Ik moet zeggen dat het wel echt een beetje oppept natuurlijk. Dat ik niet altijd verlies. En dat blijkt ook wel, dus dat is wel fijn.
Celine Alvarado, dikke proficiat met beide overwinningen.
Celine Del Carmen Alvarado there as overall winner, and the winner today. What a season she's having, and I promise I am working on my Dutch. So I'm doing my Dutch lessons every day now. I'm doing my little app that I got on my phone. So we're still on very basics. I can make a sandwich and I know how to get a coffee, but that's about all at the moment. But I'm getting there and I will do it every day. I am truly determined to be able to do that for next season. What a day, what a race. Again, Jeremy, really, you got to say about Alvarado today, just constantly coming back from adversity and issues. And that shows the measure of a rider, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, in that interview, I'm also no Dutch specialist, but I was able to pick up, talking a little bit about that the issue, trying to keep that gap small, and then trying to just come back from that and really be in a hot pursuit of this win today here. She's clearly on form, Marty. She's got that, got the wind in her sails from being able to have won that world championship, and again, putting that jersey on display here was just a great performance and a really great effort that she put out today.
I think we need to kind of create, I think the two of us could probably do it between us, extreme boas for those shoes, because there's a lot of riders that are having problems. They just pop open sometimes, don't they? If you catch them and the way you are, you can catch them on the steps, you can catch them, because of how cross is, that it's clearly an issue. Lots of riders have had problems with that this season, so maybe something that can be addressed for next season. Let's have a look, though, at the highlights of that race. Let's take you through that one in detail. What a way to finish the Superprestige series. Down on the start line, Alvarado in centre. Great to see Yara Castelline and Sanne Cant taking the start there. But it was Alvarado straight down the centre with Annemarie Hurst. Shirin van Anrooy, you can see behind the green, white and red jersey of Eva Lekner. She got a great start, did the junior world champion. Just a few errors. She had the front on the opening lap. And again, Jeremy, someone so young, those little errors that crept in on that opening lap, that experience, it just comes with time, doesn't it?
Definitely. I mean, she's got the front, though. She takes the front of the pro race here at 17 years old. I mean, not able to match that effort through the sand with that steep section. Just makes a little bit of an error there, but not a big deal. I mean, Marty, there's so much to be able to take away from being 17 years old, but it was here, this section that got ridden in very deep. Annemarie Hurst took over, and Celine Del Carmen Alvarado assumed both 1-2 into this section as they come into the barriers. It was the two of them that locked horns throughout the race and were able to do battle, kind of one on, one off, each rider taking their section, but Alvarado having trouble. That's where it looks like she broke that shoe, Marty. She hit it there on the side of one of those barriers, and then now asking for a new shoe. Hey guys, listen to what I'm saying. I need a new shoe. Hello? Are you paying attention? Yes, we are. Here you go. Boom. Ready on the ground. Takes that one off in there. I've never seen something so clean as that shoe change, Marty.
That is phenomenal, isn't it? Look how quick she got in there. When you're out and about, all of you watching, try and do that and time yourself. That was an F1 level. That was a Formula 1 level pit change, changing her shoe there. That was absolutely phenomenal. See, let's do a GCN challenge to see who can change a shoe as quickly as that at the front of a race with that sort of pressure and still come back and do this. This is the sprint. We said it could be who got clipped in. The world champion got clipped in first, had a little look back. Annemarie Hurst has a look back to see where Denise Betzemer is, but Betzemer's got the momentum. Hurst fought back, but it wasn't enough on this occasion. That was your top three. I love that. I love that little bank right before the finishing straight, and that's the beauty of cross, isn't it? That you can just throw something like that in, and it's all about that technique, isn't it? How you get into that section, carrying the momentum, and you saw Celine fighting to get the front position going into that dismount.
Yeah, definitely. That was her plan. That's what she wanted to do. She knew that she needed to be up front, and she wanted to try to make sure that she led that sprint out. I was thinking that potentially Annemarie Hurst would want to try to lead this one out, but she didn't. She just said, you know what, I'm going to go with trying to come off of the the world champs wheel, and it was not meant to be. As she gave that little juke there at the end, she was trying to just come past and just give a little bit of a, hey, I'm still here, and also not let Betzemer come through. It was a unique skill, but unfortunately in the end, like I said, Annemarie Hurst not looking like she was on her best day, still racing at the front, but just didn't have that explosivity that we typically see from Annemarie.
Yeah, she's virtually. I don't think she's. I'm going to have another look, but I don't think she's been off the podium throughout the whole season, which is a phenomenal record. Okay, well, the men's race starts on the hour. I know a lot of you are double screening Tour de la Provence and the cyclo-cross, so make sure you stay with us. Elite men's race coming up on the hour. We'll leave you with a little bit of halftime entertainment. We will be back just before the elite men.
Okay, so we're here at the Koppenberg Cyclocross, one of the most iconic cross races in the world. Today is the first race of the DVV Trophy. I'm here with a friend, Bart.
Hi.
Wellens, the two-time Belgian champion, two-time world champion. Bart, thanks for coming out.
You're welcome. Great spot. This side is better.
Bart Wellens is the kind of badass cyclocross racer that fans around the globe loved. Bart's results, personality, and character transcend generations in Belgian cyclocross lore. Even today, he is as popular as ever. His infamous duels on the heyday with Sven Nys are still talked about in the sport today as one of the most intense rivalries amongst friends that the sport has ever witnessed. His talent on the bike and his fast-paced lifestyle attracted a myriad of wild and crazy supporters that followed him to events week in and week out and made him one of the kings of cross. Bart retired from pro racing in 2015 and has since been working within the sport doing what he loves. Currently, he is the director of the Crayfin Fridstads team and the women's powerhouse program 777.be, which is home to Yara Kasterlein, Anna-Marie Wurst, as well as Alice Arzoufi. Bart let us run around with him for the day to understand not only everything that he puts into the program, but what goes into having success at the highest level. You're here today with the women's 777.be team, and we're going to follow you around as you talk about the girls. You give them tips, you give them pointers, you're in the pits. What is your role with them now? What do you do?
Oh, I do almost everything. I search the sponsors before the season, but in the season especially, we give team trainings. We give my advice to the ladies on the track, like today, pressure, which profiles that they need to ride, to how to take corners, running, riding, all that stuff.
And you give them probably a lot of motivation. Like, they're out there, it's a lot to think about. You're at the race, there's people, there's things going on, press, fans, the track conditions are changing, you see something, you're here to help them with all that.
That's the reason why I'm here, and I'm running like 40,000 steps a day when it's a race day, but that's my job and I love it.
All right, we're gonna follow you around. Thanks for having us today.
Okay.
The Koppenberg is a seriously steep cobbled climb located in the Flemish Ardennes and is one of the most historic and famous climbs in all of Belgium. The venue is drenched in cycling history from over the years and is widely known for its inclusion in the Tour of Flanders Classic road race happening each spring. Now, every November, the cobbled climb in its seriously sloped hillside transforms into one of the most treacherous and difficult race courses on the cross circuit every season. The 777 squad, as it's known to its fans, is a professional all-women's cyclocross team consisting of Dutch riders Yara Kasterlein, who is the current European champion, Anna-Marie Wurst, who is currently ranked first in the world on the UCI rankings, and Alice Arzoufi, who last year famously won the Superprestige round in Havre and this year in Boom. The program is in its second year and has become one of, if not the best, women's professional cross team on the circuit.
Hello, I'm Anne-Marie Worst. I'm coming from the Netherlands and I'm 23 years old.
Hi, I am Alice Maria Arzoufi and I am 25 years old.
My name is Yara Kasterlein. I'm 22 years old and I come from the Netherlands.
Ready, Carla? Yeah. Oh, your phone's ringing. You need to take it?
Oh, okay, that's Camille. Camille! and on your own tempo.
Yeah.
Not unlocking. You will be unlocked, but not full gas in the beginning. Your tempo.
Yeah.
Als twee rijdt, hè, heb je dan die chicanetjes rechts naar beneden, links, rechts, links. Die twee laatste. Maria, de fiets, die was plat van achter. Maar die heeft in die oranje fiets de fiets gekregen met tuben waar dat 2 bar in staat. Dat is veel te hard. Dus die gaat direct wisselen.
All right, Bart. So what has happened has been already super intense day in your world.
Yeah. In the last moments, I think 3 minutes before the start, Anne-Marie called that she had a flat tire. And the spare bike was not already yet on the start. Yeah. So it's
busy.
Big hectical.
Okay.
So and on that moment, Alice asked that she is stressed because the pressure was not good in gear 2, so it was on 5 minutes.
Okay, a lot of problems. You have to put the fires out.
Yeah, and calm down them. And it was a bit of a problem from our mechanic maybe, but yeah.
The reigning American national champion with number 11, Katie Compton. Met startnummer 10 voor Poel Bingo, Laura Verdonschot.
Dus dat is wel leuk en ik stond wel veel scherper als nu, maar het was wel een hele leuke.
Op deze wedstrijd, 4e plaats en voorop als 5, Jelle Kamp 6, Johnny Stevens 7, Nieuw-Organiseuren 8, Jette Beekant 9.
Watch the lights as we go straight up the Koppenberg. A pretty brutal start to this one, and we are off and racing. Lechner gets a good start there, the Italian champion first. Beth Crumpton, Anna Kay have got good starts here. Yara Castelline again, she had a great breakthrough. Castelline and Lechner. Lechner again the last few weeks. 777 again looking good. Anne-Marie Verst just comes through here.
Okay, Bart, so you got 2 riders in the front right now.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that this track is muddy.
Yeah.
The new track.
The new track.
From a couple years now, it's been like this.
Yeah. And now it's, this morning it was also a bit dry.
Yeah.
But now with the, it's not really raining, but it's like
slick.
Yeah.
Really slick.
Because the underground is hard, and just the top of it, it's a bit mud, and it's so slippery. Even with the Renos, it's so slippery.
What do you think about with Yara Castelline off the front and Anne-Marie? What are you saying to them when they're in this position?
Just still that focus, nothing more. I can help them riding faster, but I can say search the green lines because it's so important on a track like this. There where is the grass, there you have the grip, there you can ride. So, and mostly when they ride, it's like just in the front, and I hope that I can teach them or say them on the green lines.
Yes.
That's my best English to confirm them, and then also say to the grass.
Staying on the grass. You have to stay where there's traction.
Yeah, where the traction is, and still focus on this track, focus.
Here's your chaser, Anne-Marie Verst of 777. So this team, what a start to the year that they have had. Eva Lechner from Krefeld. Alicia Maria Azzuffi gets back onto Eva Lechner. Oh, Castelline slides out.
Bart, you got an interesting situation here. You got your 2 riders are in the front. Anne-Marie Verst, Yara Castelline. What are we thinking about? What is your sense right now? You're obviously, it's not tactical.
No, it's heart to heart. It's also a classification here on time. So the DVV trophy is with the time classification, so she needs to ride for every second. And Yara and Anne-Marie. But the best thing is also Alicia is on 3. So it can be possible that we have 1, 2, and 3 for the first time this season. So I'm a little stressed now.
Yeah, I understand. And what are you, besides that, what are you thinking about when you see Anne-Marie Verst chasing down Yara Castelline? Like, do you say something to them, or is it not tactical like that because they're in the first 3?
No, because they are fighting women to women, they need to do ride both full gas.
Okay.
They are
no tactics today.
No tactics. No. Especially not with this.
This type of track.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's flat and with a group, there is no group anymore.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah.
So this is heart to heart.
Yes.
And it's a time classification. So they need to ride for every second, all three.
Verst trying to close the gap, but the camera angle just foreshortens it very slightly. Yara Castelline takes the victory here in the Koppenberg Cross. Another phenomenal victory comes to a halt at the top, totally exhausted. Verst takes second. Accelerator's going to be a 777 podium. Alicia Maria Zuffi.
You had your teammate, Anna-Marie, was chasing you from behind. Did you think at any point maybe something with that?
She's faster and better in the downhill and the technicals parts, but I think I'm stronger in the uphill, and so I had some seconds before the uphill and I said, okay, I did today, and it's just a dream.
Okay, perfect. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Standing in the start and we got 5 minutes to go, and then I was feeling a flat tire, and then I got a bike, but the pressure was way too high. It was not for this track, and then in the first mechanical zone I have to switch my bike, so then I lost a lot of place because everyone was still close together. I'm happy with my ride. I think I closed the gap in the last lap really much. I think it was still maybe at the end 10-15 seconds, so I'm really happy with it. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But all, yeah, I'm happy with it. After all. Yeah.
Bart, you guys tore it up out there. 1, 2, 3. It has to feel good.
Yeah, it's very good. Honestly, we are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because we have also the Creaf in Friestads team,
yes,
with Era Lechner.
Yes.
So it's a bit, it's a big day, a great day today.
Yeah, I think you guys go home. There's probably not a lot to talk about. You're just like, hey, everybody, good job, rest up, because they're racing again on Sunday.
Yeah. So now it's recovered for them. For us, it's the big work now. There are some bikes were broken, so we need to fix them up tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do also some scooter training with some guys. So it will be also a fully Saturday.
Yeah. And so obviously today went really well for Yara. Small problems for Anna-Marie, but these things happen in racing.
Yeah.
That's normal.
In cyclocross, nothing is 100% perfect.
Never. And it's not
sometimes it is improve something on that moment by self. So it was a perfect day for everybody. Also with Timmerlier, with the pros, the woman, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect day.
What do you have coming up? What is now the big focus for the team?
We want to do the whole season a great job, but that's not easy for every week to be the best. On this week, on this moment, every week it's the best, but we will see. But now it's first in 2 days Ruddervoorde, and then we have the European Championship. What's important for Anna-Marie to defend her jersey, but now is Yara her big opponent, so we will see.
Yeah.
Also Alice in own Italy. But we will see. First the European, and now we will see. We probably go also on trainings camp with the ladies and also with some guys, and then
a lot of organization stuff. A lot of being the shipboat captain.
Yeah.
You have to steer it in the right direction.
For sure.
Bart, I want to thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. And if you guys liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you guys want to leave a comment, tell us how much you like Bart. Give that down below. If you want to check out other great content, check it out right over here.
Welcome back. It's got to be one of my favourite films that Jeremy's made so far this cyclocross season. I love the whole atmosphere surrounding that video. So great job as always. Welcome back. We're not far away now from the elite men's race here in Middelkerke, the final round of the Telenet Superprestige series. What a women's race we had. If you haven't watched it yet and you want to go back and watch that one later on, you can look away in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's have a look back at the elite women's race. It came down to that sprint. Who could get clipped in at the top of that bank? Celine Del Carmen Alvarado, the world champion, coming back constantly from adversity throughout today's race, had a glance back. It was Denise Betsema that had the momentum to come past Annemarie Horst, but the day and the general classification in both the elite and the under-23 classification goes to the Alpecin Phoenix rider, Celine Del Carmen Alvarado, on the podium, looking resplendent in that rainbow jersey. What a season she is having. There is your podium for today's final round. And this weekend, for a lot of riders, it will be the end of their season. Holst is the race tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss that one. There she is with the fans milling around, meeting her adoring public as the world champion. What a superstar she is, and great job. So that's the elite women's race. Let's look ahead now to the elite men. If you haven't, remember, last round in Merckxplas was cancelled due to the weather. It's pretty windy today, but it hasn't really posed too many problems for the riders so far today. Let's bring ourselves up to speed with the Telenet Superprestige series so far. That's been it so far, Diegem. The night race, the last round that we have had, just 1 point separating the top two in the general classification. Jeremy Powers is with us to take us through the elite men's race. Jeremy, as we said, just 1 point separating leader Laurent Sweeck from Ellie Isabet in the general classification. Teammates, but as we saw in Diegem, we'll see how that pans out today. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how these two riders play this one. It's got this course, I would say, suits Isabet a little bit better because of the, his lower center of gravity, his ability to kind of carve up these turns. But someone like Sweeck with that Belgian national champs jersey on, has got a lot of momentum in the end of the year. We saw him go out last weekend in Lille very, very dominantly at the beginning, was riding very strongly. There's no question that he's going to be very motivated to want to finish off this season and win the Superprestige overall. Already, I'm in the race today. I'm going to look up exactly what the overall prize purse is for this race, but it's not insignificant from first to second place. So I expect a big duel from those two riders today.
I think for me, looking at we saw the replay there, and the Zonhoven race where Laurens went down so heavy on that bank, and I still take a sharp intake of breath every time I see that one. What a great race that was. Let's have a look though at the general classification going into today's final round. So there you have it, 69 points for Laurens Sweeck to Elisabeth, 68. Van der Haar is third with 64. Quinten Hermans is up there. Arts is just behind Corny van Kessel. Tom Pidcock sitting in 7th. He leads in the under-23 classification. Tim Malier in 8th. Jens Adams in 9th. And Yanni Vermeersch is up there. So Tom Pidcock has 48 points to Ben Turner's 24 in the under-23 general classification. So for Tom Pidcock, Jeremy, he's going to be happy with that one. Silver medal at the World Championships. Under-23 super prestige title as well.
Yeah, they're definitely, if Pidcock was on a good day today, the front runners might let him go. You know what I mean? Someone like Ilya Iserby and Laurens Sweeck decide that they want to do battle for that overall, but let someone like Pidcock go. But I definitely think that third spot on the podium is going to be a very highly contested battle as well. So you've got Lars van der Haar, Corny van Kessel, Quinten Hermans. All of them are going to want to make sure that their sponsors are up on those podium blocks. So there's going to be some really great racing today happening in the men's side of things.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the riders we need to keep an eye on today. Let's have a look at our starters. It's a great field assembled. And yes, just to answer the questions, we've had a few. No Mathieu van der Poel today. Now looking new objectives, different objectives as with the road season. But the who's who, Toon Aerts, Michael van Turenhout, Laurens Sweeck, Lars van der Haar, Elisabeth, all the riders that we with us throughout the season. Tom Meeuwsen has had a bit of a, would you say, Jeremy, a bit of a sort of a resurgence in a way. Looks quite motivated with his new team.
Definitely been great to see him up there, and I think you never discount Tom Meeuwsen. Last year, a couple podium finishes, rivaling Mathieu van der Poel, and some of those it's just great when he's on. Then there's Thijs Aerts. Toon Aerts' younger brother is there. Felipe Orts is obviously a rider that we have a lot of respect for here. The Spanish rider, mixing it up with all of the Europeans, the traditional cyclocross countries, I should say. Dieter van Turenhout, and then Pidcock there. So it's going to be it's definitely, this is a stacked field. There's no question that this is going to be a great final race here in the Super Prestige series.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Felipe Orts is the Spanish rider. It's great to see a couple of other flags in there with Pidcock and Felipe Orts. Before we go down to the start, don't forget, subscribe to GCN Racing. You really have done a phenomenal job, all you cross fans this winter. Hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Just subscribe to the channel if you want to know how you keep more live cyclocross here on GCN Racing. This is how you do it. You hit that bell icon, and you can set your times and your notifications so that you're notified every time we upload a new video or go live. And also give us a thumbs up on our live broadcasts as well. That really helps build all the background stuff that we need going into that. So don't forget to subscribe, and remember there'll be plenty of time to go and watch Dan and Carlton on the Tour de Provence if you're not double screening on that one, to be able to watch a bit of road and watch some cyclocross at the same time. That is a great hat. Any hat that you can flip the ears up and down is a good one in my book. The riders are down on the start line, just getting ready for the off here. I don't know if Sid's got the clip, Jeremy, but every single time a rider's come up to the start, there's the tyre measuring official that puts the little plastic cap over the top of the tyres.
Yeah, that's to make sure that no one's riding a tire larger than size 33. As you see there, the UCI officials are going through all the riders just to make sure that there isn't anything weird going on. No one's trying to run a 35 or a 40C tire out there. No gravel tires allowed in UCI cyclocross, which is probably why you see the UCI kills cross signs out there, amongst other things. But you also are seeing today the Marty McDonald Saves Cross sign. So, we're having a changing of the tide out here at the cyclocross races, where they're starting to look. You could be running for the UCI presidency here in the future with this type of fan support, Marty.
Well, yeah, I think I could see that in my future. Take a run. You never know. Yeah, well, yeah, I love that. It's absolutely made my life, that has, and I promise it's not me, because you can see that I'm sat here, and I promise it's not any member of my family either that's out there with the sign that I've and I didn't write it myself and send someone out. I would like to point that one out to anyone out there.
Well, the drawing would have been of a very high class. We would have seen Marty's art on the side. Marty, that looks awfully familiar to your signature artwork there on the on the sign. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
we're seeing some of the that's right. Some of the foreign riders that we're seeing there down in the bunch. Kerry Werner is there today from the United States. Like we said before, Felipe Orts there on that second row, as well as Curtis White should be in here today. If we go down, there are some other riders. Michael Borosh from the Czech Republic. Like I said, Dylan Postier is also over for today's race. So yeah, some hitters today in the race from different countries as well.
Yeah, Curtis White showing his mettle behind there with his short sleeves, like Corny van Kessel. You show that you're a proper cross rider there, wearing number 19.
I wonder if he just didn't have any clean clothes. I'm not sure. This looks cold for short sleeves, Curtis.
Didn't do his washing. It's Quentin Hermans alongside Tone Arts and Joris Neuvenhuis just behind Ellie Isabit here as they move along the line here. There's Felipe Orts, Spanish champion wearing 18. Michael Van Turen out here, who's alongside Tom Pidcock, Jim Arnouts just in the background. There's Tom Pidcock. Could it be a day for Tom? It's quite I love the look at the Red Bull glasses. How cool are they to go with his Red Bull helmet? They're quite similar, in a way, similar to the World's Course, this one.
Definitely, yeah, definitely got some unique bits. A lot of very tricky off cambers, generally pretty flat. So gonna satisfy these riders a little bit that are more apt to these fast, punchy courses as we get ready here for the start. The intensity on the line, Marty.
Away we go. We are off and racing. Swake, you can see the Belgian champion, Lars van der Haar. Always a good starter is Lars van der Haar. The pocket rocket Dutchman. You see the former national champion is the rider that's got the start. Quentin Hermans moves up. Curtis White gets a great start there. Just kicks back as he goes into that corner. Orts and Pidcock just on the outside. Good line for them. So Thomas Main's wearing 54 from Tartaletto. Issa X, watch out for him in the yellow. Ben Turner is wearing 43 for Alpecin Phoenix as well. So Kerry Werner, you can see him in his Pan American Champions jersey wearing 20. Francois Castagne, Mikolaj Markovic are in there for Polish fans. Marco Carrozzo, as along with Jakob Doragoni, who's wearing 44. Finn Mansfield also on the start today is Finn Mansfield. He's wearing 80. Let's run you through some of your other nations. Valentin Remondet is also in there as well. Lars van der Haar's got the front, Laurens Swake, Quentin Hermans, Elisabeth, Tone Arts. So this is the front of this one. Lars van der Haar, can he finish the season on a high and take the overall victory here today? Could be a good bet. Sits in third in the general classification with 64 points. Quentin Hermans is going to be breathing down his neck. So just 1 point separating those two. 2 points from van der Haar to Corny van Kessel, who has 62. Tone Arts with 60. It's a good day. Lars van der Haar, as you said, the riders with the lower centre of gravity, Jeremy, like Lars, like Ellie a bit, Curtis White going through there, the tight twists and turns here really suit them.
Yeah, they do. I want to just highlight that Kerry Werner and Curtis White, they're in that top 10. How awesome is that? I was giving Curtis a little bit of crap for those short sleeves, but I have to say that a lot of riders out there in short sleeves, but able to capitalize from that second row start position, come up on the inside and bring himself up to the front. So for American fans, this is a very exciting opportunity to see some of our best talent here at the front of this race. So super awesome. But like you were saying, Marty, these riders that are lower center of gravity on this fast track, I think truthfully a lot of getting on and off the bike is such a big part of today's race. Being able to navigate these quick ruts, making sure that you're moving your body weight around, getting through this sand. There's a lot of very unique features, as I talked about in the women's race, that make this the complete rider. But Marty, Lars van der Haar on an absolute tear right now. Maybe got a directive from Sven Nys. I want you to go all in for today, Lars, because he's sitting in third place right now. The overall is not completely out of touch. I mean, the opportunity to be on the podium, absolutely 100%, but to be able to set the pace here at the beginning, I have to say he looks fantastic right now.
He does indeed. Don't forget Cameron Mason. Big fans of Cameron Mason here on GCN Racing from Trinity Racing. He's wearing 59, easy to pick out in that bright pink Trinity jersey. Michael Van Turen out, just dive bombs, moves up on the inside of Swake, battles back as he tried to take. It was Elias a bit, my apologies, a bit of a different in height there, my apologies on that. But Swake, and he's a bit locked in a battle here though. The first two in the general classification. As this for Curtis White and Kerry Werner though, Jeremy, this is the measure of hopefully, and watching the experience and a season of competition here in Belgium, is being able to sustain this top 10 position. It's great getting a great start, but the next step for the likes of Curtis White is being able to hold it mix it with these guys for the full hour.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to be able to put it all together. That's a complete cross rider. The level in Europe so high, having gone back and forth, like I was saying with Becca Ferringer, so much travel all the year long. It's great to just see them show themselves, be up there. I hope that he's able to turn that great start into something else as he leads this second chase group there with the Alpecin Phoenix rider right there. There's Kerry Werner in that Pan American Champs jersey. Unfortunately, Pidcock getting caught up in that section. Very, very steep, as we talked about in the women's race as well, Marty.
Indeed. So just going through. David van der Poel just going through. There's Curtis White. So they're just showing us all the way down here. Felipe Orts just in front of Tom Pidcock there. So it's nice that they're leaving us on. There's Corny van Kessel with his short sleeves. Joris Neuwenhuis, Jens Adams, Jim Arnout's going through. Dieter van Toren out just goes through your picture. Turner just about to go through there. There's Jacob Doragoni, Thomas Main well up there in this one.
As you see, a lot of riders
there. My apologies.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of riders putting their foot down on that off-camber section. I think this is a course, Marty, where you could run a traditional, Griffo-style tread where you've got just a normal cyclocross tread on the tires. But for those off-cambers, it does make it a little bit hairy, a little kind of just real fast, as we see Van der Haar deciding, boom, I'm off the bike, boom, on the bike, everyone else riding them. Truthfully, looked like Van der Haar was able to run those faster than everyone was able to ride them because they had to scrub so much speed. There it looks like David van der Poel there getting off, running the barriers as well. So not a sure thing to a lot of riders actually running those today. Not a sure thing that's that much faster there, as you see Curtis White coming up again, taking up that second chase group.
Niels van der Putte is the rider wearing 53, who's with David van der Poel. And as just Isabet just kicks it out of that corner, and a little steep bank here, and Quentin Hermans moves up. So it's Laurens Swake from his brother, as Dieter is right behind him, so maybe he's going to get a bit of assistance in this one from his brother today. Over the top of the bridge for Van der Haar, he's still got the front here. Lap 1 of the elite men's race, so Van der Bosch, Kielik, Locks, Bramber, Lear going through their 29th, just on the bottom of your picture. Doragoni is in 30th. Camps is 31st. Hermans just moves up here through that section. A little bit of mud through there, but Van der Haar looking good at the front. As Dieter Swake just gets on to the back of his brother.
Quentin Hermans there sitting in second place. Elite Easterbit behind him. Toon Aerts there in fourth place. Definitely right after that, you're seeing the Belgian national champ, Laurens Swake, and then can't see anything more than that, but it is still Van der Haar at the front, setting a ferocious pace here on this opening lap. Definitely sees those Dutch stripes every time he decides to look down. He knows that he's been national champion. He does not forget where he come from. He has been one of the strongest riders over the last 10 years, world champion in the under 23s, lots of overall the World Cups, World Cup wins. There's a lot of things to be happy for. That's the first rider that I've seen try to ride that section. That might have been Antoine Benesse from France that was able to ride that section there, Marty.
They're going through at the end of lap 1. 7:05 is the time for that opening lap. So going through in that group, Swake and Arts. Niels van der Putte just ahead of Tom Pidcock. David van der Poel going through. Ryan Camp is up there in 10th. That's your top 10 through at the moment. Stan Godry having a good day today in 11th. Felipe Orts in 12th. Corne van Kessel, Michael van Turen out on the back foot. Curtis White's got some work to do. Tom Mewson, Thijs Arts, Neuvenhaus, Kleppe, Arnout Suter. Adams back out in the top 22 there. So this group, still the gaps are closable from this one. There's Van der Putte going through for Alpecin Fenix. Pidcock for Trinity Racing will kick it out of that corner, the under 23 leader. So we've got a good race on our hands. 11 seconds is the gap. There's your virtual standings at this stage. So Isabit would be with 81 with Sweek. So they're going to show us this as we go through. Lars van der Haar still in third at this stage if it finishes like this, and that is basically, that's the just to point that out here on lap 2. So the virtual standings there, if it's to finish like this, that would be the standings. But great to see Van der Haar and Quentin Hermans here locked in a battle for that third spot on the podium overall.
I think we can all say that we'd be so happy to see Van der Haar able to take something like this, even just to take the win, but overall would be super cool to be able to see him finish off a season where he really rode a very consistent season. I mean, he's riding against a different generation of riders generally, Marty. Now, these guys that he's racing against were in the juniors when he was winning the World Cup, so it's pretty crazy to see some of who he's been able to mix it up with and continue to race it with. We heard from him in a lot of preseason content at the beginning of the year. As you see the fans, you can hear them cheering and that doing those chants on the side, maybe for Van der Haar, maybe for Quentin Hermans. We heard he has the wildest fan club, so not sure who they're yelling for, but Van der Haar definitely wants to race the races. Doesn't care how old the riders are, doesn't care how old they are, doesn't care what Palmares they have. He wants to race the riders that are out there. There's nothing he can do about ages. He just wants to be strong and consistent, and he's shown that all year. He's really been consistent, and he's come out like a shot out of a cannon today here now, Marty.
He has indeed. Isabit kicks it up that bank. Just behind him, Tonart's there, wearing 2. Sweek has got to stay with Isabit here. He's just got to lock himself onto the, as close as he can to Eli Isabit. Those gaps behind are opening, but still closable if this group start to look around at each other. So Sweek, Van der Putte, Pidcock, David Van der Poel, just there with Ryan Camp. As Herman's going to try and go through and do something. Isabit can just sit back or back at a bus and just watch everyone here at this at the moment. Eli Isabit.
Yeah, as you see here now, they're coming up through another one of these sections. You can see the people taking their little videos on their phones, trying to just enjoy this moment as they fly through this. This is that section of the course, Marty, where there's a lot of little tricky up, down, off cambers, and there's this steep embankment on the other side. This course has been rerouted a couple different times since I've raced it, but all of the features stay the same. There's a lot of, there's a small water feature here in the center, and there's some low-lying areas that the riders have to navigate through as they come into the pits here. There is some sections that have some really deep ruts, and those ruts, there you are, Marty. The guys are out in full force for you today. As we see here, the riders just having to get over those steep sections. I can't imagine that Toon Aerts rolled that. That was a huge gear to come into that section. But make no mind, what you're seeing on television does not at all match what these riders are facing. These sections are so steep, followed by these tricky off cambers. These are the best riders in the world that are having to navigate these sections with their foot out. So just to give you a sense of how treacherous and how off camber these are, they're going very, very fast, and they're absolutely pushing the limits of these bikes and the tires and the traction as we see that these riders coming through the chase group trying to get back on terms with the front crew, which is Quentin Hermans, Lars van der Haar, Eli Isabit, Laurens Sweek, and Toon Aerts.
A good group. Pidcock's not out, you would say, looking at the way Pidcock's ridden so far this season for British fans of the Trinity Racing man. We've seen him close gaps like this so far this season. Into the sand, that little drop-off that posed a few issues in the women's race. Pidcock's got them in his sight. Hermans, though, started well in the races over the last couple of weeks as Quentin Hermans, again, didn't quite have the endurance to be able to hold it for the entire race. Lars van der Haar deciding that he's going to run the barriers, run the planks again on these sections. We see him do it quite a lot. Lars just sometimes, when it's close to a corner like that, just doesn't want to take the risk.
Not a disadvantage today, though, Marty. You can see that, and I think that that's important to point out, is that in some races it has been a disadvantage for Van der Haar. Today, not one of those races. There's enough going on. You see a lot of riders behind also dismounting here. It's probably very soft mud in between, also makes it so that you have to scrub a lot of speed because they're high-speed barriers. Van der Haar, I'll say this, he might not be the best bunny hopper in the bunch, but he's definitely the best rider that's getting off and running over the barriers. Very fast feet, very quick back into the pedals, very electric rider. So got to give credit where credit's due.
Curtis White now down in 24th, so the American just fading a little bit. Let's have a look going at a replay here as he just goes, Dieter Van Toren out, gets a plank sandwich there, just misjudges that one completely as Curtis White goes through there.
Definitely. These happen, at the top level when you're pushing the pace. There's not a lot of blood in your arms. We see now Pidcock coming through, taking that line that Alvarado took with ease, able to come through there, trying to get back onto this front group. Pidcock coming back from an injury just before the Road World Championships, kind of using the cyclocross at the beginning part, had some great rides at the Koppenberg, going head-to-head with Ili Iserbyt in a beautiful duel between those two riders who have done battle throughout their entire careers. But Pidcock now coming back to this front group. Marty, I think in my mind, I thought that Pidcock might have peaked for the Worlds and said, you know what, I'm good. I've made a huge comeback to be able to get second place at the Elite World Championships, make history there. It is not a small feat to come back from such a big injury, so much going on. You can see the scars on his knees, on his face from that big crash that he had when he was racing on the road this year and had that big fall, which took him off the bike for a long time. But you can only grow so much in one season with all the training that you do and all of the opportunities to race. You really have to pick your spots, but we're talking about a rider, once of a generation. Someone like Pidcock able to come back and really show himself at the front of these races I can't tell you how big a deal it is. It's huge.
7 laps to go, so 7 to go for this one. Pidcock and Tonarts, two riders that managed to ride that bank going into the home straight. The only two riders that we've seen so far today do that. They're just outside your top 10 there. So Camp, the World Under-23 champion, Swait, Godry, Mayusen just going through. So this leading group being led here by the Poel Salzen Bingoal rider. Doesn't want to let Pidcock come back. Let's have a little replay of this. Watch this. Beautiful riding there by Tom Pidcock. Look at that. The Trinity Racing rider leaps the gap, kicks it out of that turn. We just saw Tonarts do the same. Technically brilliant, absolutely great to see, but it's Eli Iserbyt that's got the front, the leader of the general classification. We are on lap 3 of 9, so 7 to go, as we said. So Iserbyt, Hermans, Arts just moves up. What a season he has, as we said, that Zonhoven race where he was in the battle with the man in the Belgian champions jersey that's just 2 places behind him. He's on the wheel of Lars van der Haar. He's gone through there. It was a great battle, that race between those 2 riders, as the British champion wearing 41 is just coming across that gap and making it look he's looking good to come back into that.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to continue to manual into an embankment onto the start-finish straight, he's got a pretty good shot at making it back into the front group, Marty. That is class all the way through and through. So super fun to be able to watch him do that and then use that to his advantage to be able to tack back onto this group. Now, Marty, that he can see them, and now that he's in that group, definitely going to change the way that this race is raced for Pidcock for sure.
It was just the way he kind of leapt the gap, got onto the road, just kind of looked up and went,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of patience, and that's the thing that you don't always have with the younger riders. But Pidcock's been in so many situations, high pressure situations. He's got such a big engine that he's able to do stuff that other younger riders would kind of freak out. They get there. Now you see he's not afraid to jump back in. He has the respect of these riders as well. They're happy to let him in there, and they expect him to be there. So as you see, Tunert's trying to fight back, doesn't want to be the last guy in this group, but this course very much has, what are we going to replay here? We're seeing Iserbyt there just have a little trouble there at the end of that sand section, able to kick up, and then Van der Haar able to take that momentum and make it over there with ease, but unfortunately, Aerts not able to make it through, which allowed Pidcock to come back and Lawrence Swick to go past. So putting him on the back foot there. But I was just going to say that everyone expects Pidcock to be in this group, Marty. They give him that respect. They know he's not going to leave a gap. They know he's not going to crash. They know he's one of the top riders in the world, and that means a lot for how you move and shake in the bunch. If Pidcock had never made the front group before, you would not see Toon Aerts allow him into this group to be in front of him through these technical sections.
No. Just Dave Edwards just asking for an explanation of what a manual is.
That is when you're basically wheeling with your front tire, and then you leave your weight off, and you don't have any. You're not pedaling the bike, but you're balancing with the rear tire with the front one in the air. So he just was using basically the beautiful balance on just that rear tire with no pedaling, no forward momentum, to be able to then jump into that embankment. And then once he landed there safely with the rear tire, he was able to pedal and get traction and ride up that. It's not insignificant. That is definitely someone that's ridden their bike since they were a child, and has a lot of technical prowess.
It's a term you use a lot in BMX, isn't it? When you're manually over like a rhythm section or something like that.
Exactly. Yes. Just with the front wheel off the ground, no pedaling. That would be a manual.
We're looking for the first, although he's the elite British champion, Tom Pidcock, although he's had some podiums in the elite race since he moved up to the elite category, still that first elusive sort of win amongst this sort of company is the next step for Tom, isn't it? That silver medal at the Worlds was a reinforcement. Yeah, do you know what? I can ride at this level. I'm with these guys. Now the next step for him is a victory in something like this. That would give him a massive boost in confidence.
Absolutely would. And I think that there's if you see Tom Pidcock in the front group, 3 laps into this race, then the opportunity to win is absolutely there. So, this is a great race to call, Marty, because we've got so many people with skin in the game, right? Quentin Hermans wants to take over from Eli Iserbyt and put Lawrence Swick out of the top overall. Eli Iserbyt wants to win the Superprestige overall. Lars van der Haar looking at an opportunity to take the overall. If he was able to win and put those other guys back. So it really is all how everyone shuffles in, and I'll say the intensity and the speed of this race today, you can see it from the start where Van der Haar laid it down. This is a fast race in the front group.
It is. You can just see it looks like Van Toren out, potentially just coming back up towards the front of this one. Just seeing another Pau Sausen jersey in the background, but it's Quentin Hermans of Tormans Cyclocross of what is Circus Wanty Group Gobert on the road. It'll be interesting to see what Quentin Hermans can do on the road. If you didn't hear Jeremy's podcast interview with Quentin, go and listen to that. I recommend that one. As Iserbyt, you just saw leaning into that one as they go through. Iserbyt's going into the pits for a bike change. He's got the pit crew right at the entrance to the pits. Toon Aerts also gets a bike change for Telenet Baloise Alliance. So great day here for the Middelkerke Noordzeecross. It's about 12 degrees Celsius, 54 Fahrenheit for the riders. A little bit of cloud cover, but nothing too dreary as Pidcock just moves up alongside Van der Haar and gets the front now for Trinity Racing. And straight away, Jeremy, you see Eli Iserbyt latch on to his very own arch nemesis as they all try and replicate what Pidcock does, and Iserbyt does the same. Is Michael Van Dorn out? They are all now doing it as Pidcock attacks through the line this time. Here goes the Trinity Racing rider, the burn that he did at the World Championships where Eli Iserbyt overcooked himself totally to try and stay with Pidcock, but 6 laps to go as they go over the bridge. The British champion for Trinity Racing now has the front. Ooh, loses the feet through there.
Oh, wow. Pidcock went hot into that, came off there, didn't realize how much speed he had. He actually tried to pump track the front wheel down that section. He took so much speed into it, but just cooked it and actually he basically just floated down, able to save it. A cat has 9 lives, and Pidcock does apparently too. As he flies down it, unclips both feet because he had so much speed and hit so hard at the bottom of that. Oh man, that was something. I hope we get a replay. Here we go. You can see he just doesn't have the front tire all the way on the ground, so when he hits, it's a big punch right under that front tire, and it just threw him, just too big of an impact. But as you can see, Marty, didn't slow him down at all. Not a nothing to worry about. No big hits to the groin. Didn't even seem to slow him down. He didn't even take off the front. But man, what a shot he took at these guys. Everyone now looking at that and saying like, okay, Pidcock's here.
He is smoking hot, I'd say, on that one. Might need an ice pack at the end of this race. Van der Haar's got the front. Pidcock and Swake are the next riders. Thanks all of you for getting on board on the chat. Alan Collins checking in from Portsmouth. The internet went down in Portsmouth. That's just shocking. I'd complain to the council about that one. On a day like this in cyclocross, Van Torenhout just latches on to the back of the group there. We're seeing everyone jumping that ditch into the home straight. Now that could make a difference as the race goes on. The Alpecin Fenix colours. Van der Putte goes through. Niels van der Putte for the under-23 rider from Alpecin Fenix. Isabet's got the front, almost just taking the wind out of this front group to let himself recover. Van Kessel in the short sleeves is next, just ahead of Meyusen.
Marty, I've been able to look up the overall prize purse, so I know that the Super Prestige and the DVD matching for the women's all the way down to 8th place in the Super Prestige. But just to give a sense of maybe where the ferocity of today's front group is coming from, it's $30,000 to win the overall of the Super Prestige. We've got several riders here that are in contention to take that prize. Then second place is 18,000 euros. Down from there, 10,000 euros, 6,000 euros, and 4,000 euros. So if you want to know what gets these guys out of bed on a morning like that, when there's 12 to 20,000 euros difference on the line, this is what it looks like.
That's a car. That's a car. The difference between first and second is a new motor. We know how much the guys like their motors. Both of these lads.
Well, I think anybody can get out of bed for 20,000 euros or 30,000 euros.
Here goes Van der Haar back to the front now for Lars Van der Haar. If you're interested in last year, the way this race went down, it was Mathieu van der Poel from Michael Van Torenhout. Toonarts was up there. Van der Haar was 4th. Quentin Herman's 5th. Kevin Powell 6th. Yanni Vermeersch, Joris Neuvenhuis, Jens Adams, and Tom Pidcock. That was the top 10 here last year. And again, you see how many of these riders, the way these courses really suit them.
Yeah, and who would have thought that this would come down to the last race? The organizers couldn't have thought of a better way to pull this together. I mean, they're having to cancel the race in Marktplaats last week, not ideal. But if they look at it, maybe the spread became bigger, and instead they've got this beautiful last race on their hands where they've got so many 5 hungry riders, and then you throw Pidcock in there and the other players that are coming in just to try to take the day's race win. Is a very unique scenario that we don't always get this treat, Marty, to have such a high intensity with so much on the line at the end of the season type race.
Yeah, it's really good to see. If you're interested in the prize list for the individual race, so it's 1,400 euros for a win, then 720, and then 500 for third, 20 prizes. So 20th place gets 50 euros. But as Jeremy said, it's all about the overall classification. That's what the riders are interested in this one. This leading group still very much together. This is, for me, I don't know about you, Jeremy, but when we get the cross races like this, which are so close, well, we've got a bunch of riders here coming in halfway through the race that are all still in contention. This is what we want to see, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. You're seeing a big group here, very fast track, a lot of punchy sections. What I expect to see happen here, Marty, is that there's a small gap, something like this where you see Lars Sweck. It's because someone made an error on another one of these off cambers or on one of these steep embankments that then basically puts someone off the back, slows down the rest of the group. But you see here, Sweek able to capitalize on just a small error, but it's going to take one little thing that's going to rubber band out the group. It's going to be a bunch of those that happen consecutively that's going to ultimately end up giving somebody a pretty big gap. But we saw Sweck here biding his time a little bit better this race. Last time when we saw him in Lilla, he was off the front immediately, really charging, blew up a little bit, and then now seeing a different approach to this race here with so much on the line. I have to say that it is a good tactic to think about potentially going through halfway in this race, making a move at the front and seeing if it'll stick.
Patershausen Bingo got the front. Isabet's got to be mindful of this one, as as we've said, just 1 point separating Sweek, the leader here, from the second placed man, Eli Isabet. But Isabet doing the role here of letting Lars Van der Haar and Toonarts do the chasing, as the Belgian champion rides off. If we look back through this series so far, all the way back to October, the 13th of October in Gieten, where it's Ellie Isabit from Quentin Hermans, Corny van Kessel, Lawrence Swake was 8th on that occasion. We then moved on to Boom as Van der Haar goes into the pits. Arts from Hermans, Pidcock, Swake was 6th on that one. We went to Havre, Elisabeth from Lars van der Haar and Lawrence Swake. Pidcock was 4th on that occasion. Then we moved on to Rudevorde, which was Mathieu van der Poel from Lawrence Swake and Toonaerts. Then to Zonhoven. Toonaerts from this man who took that massive tumble on the big bank ahead of Ellie Isabit in 3rd place. Then on to Degen, Van der Poel from Isabit and Van Toonaert. Swake was 6th on that occasion as Isabit tries to leap the gap, but comes unstuck just a little bit on that, and that has led to the general classification in the manner that it is. Swake's got the front. It's going to be up to Van der Haar, Arts, Hermans and Pidcock to do the chasing as Michael Van Toonaert comes through and gets Ellie Isabit on the wheel. This is something that we've seen a little bit, isn't it, as Toonaerts just wrestles his way through towards the front. There's team tactics don't always play out in cyclocross, do they?
It's a weird thing. I mean, having seen Easterbit go to the front there for that section where I would have put $10 on it that he would not make that, with this idea that he's got his team, he's got the team leader who could potentially win the overall out in front. Okay, they have a team plan. He comes into this section. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but it would make sense that a rider on that off-camber section like that to not make it would slow the other riders down. So as you see here, we're getting this replay of this. He comes into this and then didn't make it. Sorry, guys. And then just kind of stops, slows down, but it slows everyone else down. And it takes momentum out of the group, which then gives Lawrence Swick an opportunity to capitalize more, get a little bit further out, and then really demoralize the chase, which is going to be taken up by someone like Toonaerts. Van der Haar set the pace so hard in the first 30 minutes. Now it's going to come down to someone from the Telenet squad to be able to try to bring back this, because Eli Easterbit and Michael Van Torenhout have no interest in bringing back Lawrence Swick for that overall. So there's a lot going on here, a lot of inter-team tactics, but I don't think that the riders from Palosalzen are going to be looking at each other to be doing any of the chasing right now as Lawrence Swick's off the front.
Here's your virtual standings. At this stage, you can see that Isabit would be on 84, Swake would be on 84, Isabit on 79. So this man here is at the moment pulling clear. So that if we finished at this point, that's the way the general classification in the Telenet Superprestige series would look, as the Belgian champion on the front just has to watch those barriers as he goes through that section. So Doragoni in 25th. It's going to be up to Toonaerts and Lars van der Haar to do the work here. Curtis White, you can see now sitting in 29th, the American at 1:55. The chase very much on here for Telenet Baloise. Swake now has got the front. He's just got to time trial his way over the course of these final laps. Pidcock just slightly off the back there of Quentin Hermans, but Swake's got the length of the sand as an advantage here at the moment.
Absolutely he does, but Aerts there riding that section with a lot of class, no problem. Van der Haar able to get through there just into that little bit of that barricade with the foam over it, but able to use that to keep his momentum. You can see quick leg speed, still good posture on the bike. No one looks too fatigued. Pidcock potentially maybe now feeling the effects of that crazy attack that he laid down. I think Pidcock's adrenaline gland opened up wide there, and he just went for it. He saw the opportunity, and he took his shot, and he went for it. But I would expect that Pidcock will reemerge and come up there. As you see, Lawrence Swick having to get a leg out, getting a little bit of the dance down that off-camber section as they make their way through. But now Aerts turning the screws, really pushing the pace. You can see the look on everyone's face. The pace has not let up and dropped off in the chase group, Marty. They definitely, like I said, with so much on the line, want to get Lawrence Swick back and minimize the damage that this attack has done.
Arts on the front, opens the pressure there. Swake just going down. It gives him an opportunity to just glance across and see where those chasers are. Pidcock's just off there. I wonder if Tom Pidcock's got a bit of a mechanical issue here. We'll see if he goes into the pits for a bike change as Michael Van Toorenhout just gets rid of the glasses. Pidcock's not pitting, so not a mechanical issue. Little burn there from Toonarts. Van der Haar goes through this off-camber section. You see the riders just controlling the slide here. A lot of chat. Thanks for all your comments. A lot of you wishing Ollie luck for his attempt on the hour record next week. It's going to be a big one for Ollie, going for trying to beat Eddie Merckx's hour record. He's certainly been working hard. So yeah, big luck out to Ollie for that one. That's a big task to take, to try and put yourself out there and beat that. I grew up racing the track, so yeah, big respect to Ollie for that one.
Absolutely, going to be very cool. I'm going to be watching. And it's going to be interesting to see how, just his time in general, how he does as these riders here, Marty, looks to be about 8 seconds back from Laurens Swick as he comes into the barriers. High stakes as the cameraman even just taking a look, saying, whoa, as they come back now to the chase. It's Toon Aerts pulling this back. Marty, 8 seconds is not a lot of time. That's a man on the run right now for Laurens Swick.
It is indeed. You can see that that barrier there. Proper concrete there. Jens Adams, looks like he's gone down here. Jens Adams just doing his shoe back up. Looks like he's gone down on that bank. That white jersey, the team of the dairy products, I was told. So they're the sponsor of Jens Adams. They could potentially get back here to Soy. That's Marco Corrozzo, the Italian there from the Rossi cycling team, who's just about to get lapped in this group. He's a bit right on the back. I think they've got the measure of Swake here. I think they're going to bring him back.
Yeah, it definitely looks to be that way. And if they do, Marty, the race is going to get very intense at that point, because you're going to see the next rider from the Poel Salzen team try to launch an attack. That could be Easterbit, that could be Michael van Tornhout. But if Laurens Swick has fired his shot and they're able to bring him back, that sets Van der Haar up for an opportunity, Marty, for the overall, which I would be very curious to see how that goes between him and Toon Aerts. I'm sure that they're friends, but I'd be curious to see how that works out in a team meeting with him, Sven Nys, and Lars Van der Haar. That'd be one I'd want to be a fly on the wall for.
Yeah. Tom Pidcock, you can see for you British fans, is just off the back of Quentin Hermans. Toonarts is doing that usual turn and burn that he does at the front. Swake dismounts as he jumps that gap, keeps the momentum into the home straight. It is down to the Telenet Baloise duo of Lars Van der Haar and Toonarts there. Arts manages to keep the momentum. Michael van Tornhout does the same. Van der Haar and Easterbit both dismounting through that section. Here comes Quentin Hermans for Tormans. Leaps the gap. Swake goes through, and he looks like he can see just how much this is taking out of him. Toonarts looks back at Lars Van der Haar. He's still going to have to work. Poel Salzen Bingo, though, are playing the team game, sitting on the back of that group. So 4 laps to go this time. So 12 seconds, 19 to Hermans, and then 23 back to Pidcock in 7th.
11 seconds on this course, Marty. Can Van der Haar bring it back? It looks like Toon Aerts giving up some of that front now, saying, hey, Lars, it's time for you to try to jump this. Taking back 11 seconds in 1 lap's not going to be possible unless Laurens Swick has an issue, but definitely keeping it at bay. There's still 25 minutes of racing left, so there's a lot of time. If you put 2 seconds per lap, 3 seconds per lap, you've got that 11 back. So if Swick starts to falter at all, these guys are going to be back. And with Toon Aerts and Lars Van der Haar able to kind of do the 1-2 punch on keeping the pace high, it definitely is possible, because Swick's out there running his own individual time trial right now, having to hit these lines, and is running, like I said, a man on the run, because there's so much on the line today. The pressure is high, whether that's from the chase or just internally. There is a lot at stake today.
So you just saw Van der Putte going through ahead of Neuvenhuis, Meyusen, and then a little gap back to Dan Suter and Ryan Camp. They're at 1:11. Those are your chasers. 12 seconds as Swick pulls out another second here. I did him a bit of a disservice a moment ago, but if they can hold him at this gap, he's looking good at the head of the race. Is the man that's leading in the general classification. And he's getting roared on, but as you would expect, by the crowd here in Middelkerke. If you're just joining us, welcome aboard here on GCN Racing. The Telenet Superprestige Series Round 8 from Middelkerke, the Noordzeecross. It's the leader of the GC Zwyk that's leading at the head of the race, ahead of that chasing group of Van der Haar, Toonaerts, Van Tornau and Isabit, and then a bit of a gap back to Quentin Hermans and another bit of a gap back to Tom Pidcock behind them. Remember, it's a double weekend here on GCN Racing of cyclo-cross. We are in Hulst tomorrow. It's a great course. You will not want to miss Hulst tomorrow. Make sure you don't miss that one. And remember, you've got Tour de la Provence with Dan Lloyd and Carlton Kirby. That is also live. And as you, if you're not aware, all of our live racing is available on demand forever and ever and ever. So you can watch it all whenever you want.
As we see here, Laurens Zwyk in the Belgian tricolor going through there wearing number 4. I can see the grimace on his face, absolutely putting in a time trial effort here as he rides for the overall of the Super Prestige. If you're just joining us, there's a tight battle locked to the top between these riders. It is Laurens Zwyk and Eli Iserbyt in the top, with Lars van der Haar in 3rd place for the overall. Quinten Hermans is in 4th, Corne van Kessel in 5th, but van der Haar, it'd be a lot of things would have to shuffle, but it's not impossible for van der Haar if Laurens Zwyk had an issue and then Eli Iserbyt finished down in the back of this group, Marty, for van der Haar to take the overall. You have to try, but either way, to be able to stay in the top 3 overall for a season-long effort, that's something that van der Haar, you can see, is very motivated by. There's a lot on the lines in terms of overall prize money here, $30,000 to first place, $18,000 to second place. So there is a massive amount of money here on the line today for this final round of the Noordzeecross, also known as Middelkerke, up in the top corner of Belgium on the coast. Very windy track here today and a lot of steep embankments, as you see there. Iserbyt having to really put a lot of power down to be able to get that bike in himself over that steep section.
He is indeed, and he's a bit right onto the wheel of his teammate. They do work quite well together, Michael Van Tornau and Eli Iserbyt. Zwyk focused, concentrated. When you get these close-up shots, just watch the eyes of the likes of Laurens Zwyk. We've seen quite a lot of riders now that are adopting the mirrored glasses, but I think that one of the good things of cross here, Jeremy, is when you're able to look into the eyes of a rider and look at how their eyes are moving, look at the way their brain is just processing the information ahead of them as well, taking in the track, which lines you're going to take, all that pre-ride, the course ride, which gears you're going to use, in and out of those turns. That's what I always find really fascinating when we get those real close-ups.
Definitely. I mean, you can see that he is a man possessed right now out in front, definitely hyper-focused right now. There's no question that Zwyk has a lot of, he has his eye on this race. He wants to take the victory today here in Middelkerke, and you're right, you can absolutely see a lot by looking into his eyes. You can see the way that he's looking forward. It's got that Belgian gray is in the sky right now. I'm surprised it's not raining. It's definitely, there's something coming in because it is quite dark out, so I'm not surprised to see a lot of riders opting for no glasses and for Zwyk to have those clears in, because he wants to be able to see absolutely everything in the event that at the end of the day this rain comes in and he's not able to see anything. He wants to have his eyes protected. So as you see here, carving up this course, using all of his momentum, tracking through these sections that they're going over here. These are steep. So these are man-made obstacles which allow the public to be able to go underneath and crisscross throughout the course to see different sections of it and to cheer their riders on. But also for the riders, it presents that is a very steep, another steep section. So today's course, Marty, takes a lot of that strength power as well. You got to have that big low cadence gear to be able to go through as Zwyk comes in here for the turn into the pits, deciding no bike necessary. Now he takes a shot to look back and see Lars van der Haar still on the hunt. So he's not out of sight, out of mind yet, Marty. Still van der Haar making a big effort here. As you see, Toonaerts has dropped off slightly, and Iserbyt there in second place, ready to pounce. Van der Haar coming in for another bike exchange.
Is indeed. Toonaerts, that work done to try and control the pace of an attack of Laurens Zwyk. It's really advantage, you would say. Paulshausen bingo today. Zwyk is about to, is he going to leap the gap again? He's not. He dismounts. And if you're new to cyclocross, you'll see that Zwyk gets off on he's a dirty side dismounter, gets off chain set side of the bike. Van der Haar has a glance back over the shoulder. He's not going to get any assistance here from Iserbyt and Van Tornau. It's going to be all down to him. Looks like Toonaerts, that chase as we go through at the end of lap 6. It'll be 3 to go this time for our leaders. And Isabit and Ventura out. The pressure completely out of this group. Arts has got steam coming out of his ears, really, you would say, after that chase. He's right on the back. That hurt him. 17 seconds. Hermans and Pidcock just off the back of this group. Jeremy, we're starting to see a few, some really fatigued riders out here today.
Absolutely. As you know, as that fatigue starts to set in, there's just too much on the line. You can see the riders coming into that embankment there off of the course and onto the start-finish straight. Everyone choosing to run at that time, not wanting to take any risks and let this gap go out more. But unfortunately, the Telenet Balawaza and the Powell Sazin team going head-to-head. But now Michael Van Torenhout has it. He's not going to chase down Lawrence Sweck. He's not going to do that. He's going to set tempo, and he's just going to keep the pace up so that these other riders don't come back into the group, but there's not any chance where he's going to start to dig and really lead and push the pace as we see Pidcock trying to nail that section again. That line has changed considerably, Marty, and made it a lot harder to make it through there. Just a centimeter or an inch, is the only difference between being able to ride that section and not able to ride it consistently and cleanly when you're that fatigued. So yeah, as you see here, you can see now, like I was saying, Vanderhaar noticing the pace was dropping with Michael Van Torenhout on the front, needs to take back over, set the tempo here and push, but not take his teammate Toon Aerts off the back. There's a lot of things going on here, a lot of inter-team rivalries as well as team tactics at play. Everyone wants to benefit, but no one wants to put anyone out as well. So lots of stuff going on here psychologically and on the course.
They are indeed the Belgian champion, though. When you look back, just since the beginning of the year for Laurens Sweeck, GP Sven Nys in Bâle on the 1st of January. It was 7th place in that one in the DVB Trophy. He then followed that up the week after, or just after that, with a 1st place and that Belgian national champions jersey. 11th in Otterhem just 2 days later, but we give him some respect. He did celebrate a lot after that Belgian champions victory. 3rd in the World Cup in Nome, 9th in the World Cup in Hoogerheide, 5th at the World Championships, 8th in Mauderhem, and 4th in the Kravattencross last week for Laurens Sweeck. But you get to the point, Jeremy, in the season where you've got to pick your battles. You've only got your form cycles, the amount of energy that you've got week in, week out. If this was his target, this was his goal, the DVB Trophy was out of reach, this is where all the effort goes in.
Definitely. I mean, I think that, if you look at an overall, that's a better thing to look at for the season. I think when you talk to a lot of riders, someone like Anna-Marie Worst, who wins the World Cup overall, it's not something that you set out to do initially, but you look at the season as a whole. You see where things line up for you, which tracks were best for you, where you had, consecutively good races, and sometimes they just add up. A lot of these riders are all in the overalls of each of these races, but maybe they just had 3-4 good races. When I look back at Vanderhaar, there were a lot of races where he was 11th place. He had a 2nd place, a 14th place. So he got 14 points, which means he was 2nd place. So there's a lot of opportunities where he had good races in the Superprestige, so that puts him in a good chance to be on the overall. And I think when you show a sign of consistency throughout the year, that means a lot to a rider, especially one at Vanderhaar's age. He's still very young, but in cyclocross, he is a generation out from the riders that are at the front. So for Vanderhaar, this is a fantastic ride today. It's a fantastic cap to his season, and I know he wants to finish this off with a spot on the podium, and he's going to be upset with anything but.
He will indeed. Our leader, Laurens Sweeck, started his season strongly in Eeklo with a victory all the way back in September. Remember that? Getting to the end of our cross season. He then went over to the US, won on the opening day there in Trek, in the Trek CycloCross Cup day. 16th in the second World Cup, then back consistent top 10s, podiums in Havre, Ruddervoorde, the European Championships, the Yarmouth Cross, DVV Trophy, the Flandrian Cross, podium in Koksijde in the World Cup, 2nd there. Essen, he was on the podium. Zonhoven, he was on the podium. Zolder, he was up there in 2nd place. So that Belgian champions jersey was the victory, the first one really since September for Sweeck. So topping and tailing his season beautifully here.
Absolutely. Topping it off. He's feeling like he's got how could you leave with a season like that not being happy? I don't know. It's a lot to say. As Van der Haar comes into the barriers, off, boom, those quick legs. Trust me, not a single bike length loss to Michael Vanthourenhout out there, Marty.
It's a good demonstration, though, isn't it, for anyone out there that feels that they have to bunny hop and they're in a race and they're in that situation. I mean, I had a massive bunny hop fail the other day, and I was out practicing and messing about, and I bunny hopped a log, completely misjudged it, bent my chainring completely. So, you know, looking at the way Lars is doing this at the highest level of the sport, and, you know, the respect to him for having that confidence to be able to not be forced by everyone else in this group, and he's kicking on here up this little climb here. Vanthourenhout completely misjudging that, but it takes a bit of confidence at the highest level to think, do you know what, I've got the quick feet. I know I'm not going to lose too much time here.
Absolutely, and I think that he's doing a really good job. He's also comes from that gymnastics background. You know, he's able to get on and off the bike super fast, and he's really agile. As you see here, Michael Vanthourenhout just in the wrong gear, not able to get it right, and then you got a big flick of the head there just with frustration, like, I cannot get this bike up this hill right now. So he loses a lot of time, gives Van der Haar very much a little bit of a boost because he's able to take Vanthourenhout off the back and push the pace. It's looking really good for Van der Haar and Toon Aerts. Looking like he's got his head down from that earlier effort here. We're going to get the time gap back as these riders are going to see, I think, 2 to go, Marty.
Yeah, 2 to go this time. Swake's got the front. From that chasing group, looking a bit fatigued. Maybe Hermans and Pidcock can get back in there, but our leader, looking phenomenal at the head of the race, is Laurent Swake. This will be a popular victory here today. No one in sight. Van der Haar dismounts through this section. Vanthourenhout on the back, carrying on with his jump across the gap there. Our chasing group, the gap is opening. 2 laps to go. Van der Haar looks back, flicks the elbow. Pidcock as a jump comes to a halt through that section, does Pidcock. Vanthourenhout took it cleanly. Van Kessel is there. Maybe these two now will take a little bit of a confidence from this. Looking back though, Jeremy, last year in Hulst, tomorrow's race in Hulst was that race where Pidcock and Van der Poel, he stayed with Mathieu Van der Poel for most of the race. Maybe now, at this point, after the maybe overcooked a teeny bit, attack didn't work, maybe kicking back a little bit for tomorrow?
Yeah, potentially looked at today, said, you know what, it's not going to happen. The pace is too high. There's too many motivated guys here. But thinking about tomorrow, there could be some sore legs in the bunch. If I'm Lars Van der Haar or Eli Iserbyt, today is the day. I'm going all in because there's a lot on the line here with that overall. This is the difference between, like we said, Marty, you know, being on the podium of the overall, not to mention the financial stuff, as well as the prestige and the being a sportsman, wanting to really lay it on the line for this overall in the Super Prestige. So tomorrow, race a little bit less, not as on high a level overall, and so on. So I think that these riders are going to be prioritizing Saturday's Category 1 UCI race as well. So there's definitely some points in the line if they haven't maxed out their points already. And I think there's just, you know, I'd say that if there was a good time to let off, then that was the right time for Pidcock, because tomorrow is an opportunity. But now you see Eli Iserbyt deciding to take over the front and try to put his stamp on this to solidify his second place overall and potentially chase down Lawrence Swick and take the overall, Marty. There's not a lot of time left.
Not at all, and he's let his teammate ride off here. Now he's making his move behind. So if you are just joining us, you didn't see the GC. This man here, Swake, the Belgian champion, leading with 69 points. Eli Iserbyt just 1 point behind with 68. Lars Van der Haar third overall with 64. Quentin Hermans was fourth going into today with 63. Corne van Kessel with 62. Toon Aerts was sixth with 60. Then Pidcock with 53. Malier with 35. Jens Adams with 33 and Yanni Vermeersch with 31. So there are some winners here. Toon Aerts, one of them, looks like he's recovered after that earlier chase. Jeremy, you've been out here, you've lived in Belgium, you've raced these races as Iserbyt kicks it through the sand. For Laurent Swake, riding in front of a home crowd in a Belgian champions jersey in a race as prestigious as this in the Super Prestige series, it's hard for us, as you know, to imagine the reaction of the crowd, the media, everything around a victory like this in a cyclocross mad country like Belgium.
I think that he's got so many people that look out for him. He and his He and his brother have a fantastic fan club. They come out to the races. They were all so happy to see him take that Belgian national championship jersey. He's been in the mix for a very long time. Not one of the, not winning as often as some of the other riders that he shadowed in the past, but this year he's really been able to put it together. As these two teams came together, his old team and then the Marlux Bingold team, he became teammates with some of these other riders, with Ili Easterbit. Now has been able to put together one of his best seasons. Potentially a change in management really helped, give him a lot of confidence, a lot of support at the races. His family's out there with him every weekend. He's got his family in the pits helping him make it to the races every time. So there's a lot of people that go into what you see today that happens out on the track. When you say that a rider is, as well prepared, as ready to focus and bring 100% to each race, that's all you can hope for. So many riders have to worry about tubulars that fall off or not having the right equipment or this and that. What you're seeing here is the perfection of every single thing that a rider can control, and then being able to put it into play and being able to make the most of it is what you're seeing here at the front of this race here today with Lauren Sweck.
Yeah, his family, huge investment for both Dieter and Laurens. His brother as well, his older brother is also a very good cross rider. I think he won the Belgian championship for riders without a contract, but the mums and dads, the parents, his mum, I was reading an interview actually, and his mum said one of the nicest things now with the fact that the boys are out there, they're married, they live, is not having to do the washing after every weekend's racing. But they grew up racing going off in the camper van. I think they went off to the Netherlands quite early on. They decided that they wanted to ride cyclocross. They used to drive up to the Netherlands, cross the border to allow them to race really young. I think he started at like 8 years old, the Sweek brothers, and yeah, huge investment from the family in terms of time. I think his mum's now said she can go back to work now that they're all a little bit older. That's awesome. A bit. Yeah, it's a full investment from them. It's great to see. He's definitely gone here, isn't he? Lap 8 of 9. If you're just joining us, welcome aboard here. It's the final round of the Telenet Superprestige series, a doubleheader here on GCN Racing this weekend. So we've got Holst tomorrow in terms of cyclocross, the Tour de la Provence rather, with Dan Lloyd and Carlton Kirby finishing that one off. We've had the pleasure of Bernie Eisel's company for the last 2 days as well. It was great to have Bernie in the commentary box with us, as it always is, and to have Jeremy Powers alongside us. Liam Cow giving you some love over on Twitter, Jeremy, just saying for the sign that's out there for me, he says you can't underestimate Jay Powell's contribution. You gotta say that as well.
All right, thanks, Lee. Appreciate that. Marty's the star of the show here, but I was going to say, Marty, it was cool last year at Cross Vegas. It was cool because I was actually able to be on the podium with Lauren Sweck and his brother Dieter Sweek. So it was really cool to be able to jam with them and to kind of hang out. We did like an early before the race kind of get together. But I've known Lauren Sweck for a long time. I was able to interview him at the World Cup in Waterloo at Trek headquarters this year. Always been a good dude. So to see him out here, people are looking ahead. Claps already. There's still a lap to go, guys. No handshakes yet. This guy's got 8 more minutes of hard racing to take this overall as he comes through. Last lap, last ronda coming through here, 55 minutes into this one. As you see now, Toon Aerts coming through, trying to ride this section, able to execute, putting Ili Easterbit back, taking a little bit of his momentum out, maybe as a team tactic here at the Telenet Balawaza to let Lars Van Haar come back to the front of this one.
Arts now is going to lead through the chase, and the gap is 26 seconds. Pidcock makes it this time. He's there, so Arts with Easterbit. Van der Haar goes through next with Van Turenhout. Then it's going to be Pidcock and Hermans. So Tom Pidcock's just managed to distance himself from Quentin Hermans. So Pidcock goes through at 46 seconds. Quentin Hermans is going to go through just under the 50 seconds. Back to our leader, Laurens Sweek. Jeremy, over the last couple of weeks, Quentin Hermans, a rider that is starting to look like he's the fuel tank starting to hit empty.
Hey, I mean, yeah, can you complain? I remember
No.
sitting with him at the World Cups in September, just thinking about the road season that he had. These guys race all year round. He may need a small recharge, a couple weeks off the bike before he gets into the early part of the road season, and then takes a bigger break throughout the summer. I'd say Quinten Hermans is very much a consummate professional. He really takes this job seriously. Listen to the podcast with him if you haven't yet. The GCN Cyclocross podcast. We did 8 episodes this year. Hope that we're able to bring it back next year. Marty and I rapped about all kinds of stuff, gave you guys wrap-ups of the season, but we got to sit down with quite a few top riders, men and women, and had a really good chat with Quinten Hermans. I think you guys would be a fan of him after you listen to that conversation. So definitely no shame in coming in 6th place today, but definitely he has a lot of great races left, and I'm sure he'd love to take one more victory before this season closes up shop. But here it is on the front, Laurens Sweeck in the Belgian national champs jersey, winner, currently looking like the winner of the overall of the Superprestige, barring any major mechanicals with 3 to 4 minutes left of racing. Sweeck is at the front, the current leader overall in this series, and looking to cap this one off with Marty, his first win in the Superprestige. As you hear the fans yelling and cheering for him, they're so happy to see him taking this one by the front today.
Definitely, and for someone like Sweeck or most riders, you don't want to win a series without winning a round, potentially, to be able to finish the season off, finish the series off with an overall victory and taking the final round in a dominant fashion in the Belgian national champions jersey. That is a special moment, and Toon Aerts, you can see the former Belgian champion, the stripes just around the arms of his jersey, kicks it up that bank, takes a little cheeky glance back over the shoulder just to see where Eli Iserbyt is behind, strides up those steps. Iserbyt has to almost take them 2 at a time behind him to stay with Toon Aerts through that section. Lars van der Haar and Michael van Torenhout are locked in their own battle just behind this one. Could come down to a sprint now for 2nd place here between Toon Aerts and Eli Iserbyt. Aerts in 6th with 60 points, looking to move himself up in the general standings here on the final round. So here we are all the way now. Aerts and Iserbyt, it's a good battle behind. It's been a great race, this one, Jeremy, right from the off.
Absolutely, been super fast, and I haven't been able to do the numbers yet, but I wonder if Aerts is trying to take those points away from Eli Iserbyt for that 2nd place to help van der Haar come back up. Van der Haar, unfortunately, 4 points behind Iserbyt, so probably not possible unless Iserbyt were to finish behind him, but definitely Aerts there looking at this opportunity. He's 6th overall right now in the Superprestige, so probably just looking to cap this one off with a strong showing here on the podium. Again, another rider on the podcast just wants to show up to every single race and do his best. Doesn't matter what the series is. I think today he looks at this race as an opportunity after that big crash that he had in Namur. As you see, van der Haar there, unfortunately coming in too much power, not enough weight on that rear wheel, just hits that barricade. And but yeah, Aerts there looking to just put a nice cap here on this race. As you see, van der Haar there, just a spin out of the rear tire, unfortunately goes into that as it happens at the end of the race, going all in, Marty. Super high stakes race today.
Indeed, and again, I think that's a good demonstration of how sometimes you forget the subtle movements that you got to get in cyclocross to keep the momentum and keep the traction on the back wheel to keep that down.
Definitely, just a little bit too much weight up on the front, and then as you see here, Sweeck deciding to run that section now, probably feeling the fatigue and not wanting to take any chances here with a crash. So good on him. As you see, Aerts now looking really smooth through this sandy section. Eli Iserbyt trying to get on there. The momentum through this section, Marty, you can see they have to put in a big gear, but they get over the top and then they have to punch it down the backside. That is not a steep little hill, and they bring a ton of speed off that downhill into the barriers. Now Aerts clean. Iserbyt not as good, unfortunately, having to give up a couple seconds there through that section to Toon Aerts.
Did indeed. So Iserbyt is trying to battle back now to Toon Aerts, who really, again, that final lap burn that Toon Aerts is so famous for. And now he's kicking on, carries that speed, that momentum over the planks, drops in on this descent. He'll kick it out of this turn, gets himself shifted into the right gear. You can see that back wheel just slipping out here. Easterbit and everyone just looking for a little bit of green, looking for some traction on that climb. Easterbit nicely up there, clean. Does he manage to close down fractions of a second back up to Toonarts? It's the final lap. Here is your leader, Laurent Sweeck, through the mud. It's not long now before he'll be able to dismount over that bank and sit up and celebrate the victory here in the Belgian champions jersey. Goes in to take his Belgian bike, that Ridley bike, into the pits. Everyone's looking for high fives. You've got to be a confident man to high five the crowd before you get into the home straight for the final time.
Not going to happen with someone as, as focused as Laurent Sweeck is right now. You saw he had to get his foot out there, finally taking a second to break that as he looks back to double check, but he's got the clean machine to come down the finishing straight as he comes in for this embankment, decides he's going to get off, but he's going to be able to show off that Belgian national champs jersey as well as that custom painted Ridley, Marty.
Kicks back, looks back over the shoulder. Your winner of the final round here in Middelkerke, the winner of the general classification in the Telenet Superprestige Series, Laurent Sweeck of Poel Bingo. Everyone's a winner, sits up, makes the W, high fives the crowd. A great performance from him. Toonarts comes in now for second place for the Telenet Baloise Alliance. Another phenomenal performance today from this man to take second. Elie Easterbit did everything that he could in this race. It was his teammate that went off and to take the victory. He will still sit in second in the general classification. Lars van Haar is happy with that one. He crosses the line now in fourth. You can see Lars happy with his performance today. Michael van Turenhout comes in for fifth. Another out there for Poel Bingo. There's your winner, looking good in that Belgian champions jersey, making his way now towards the podium. That's your top five, 39 seconds separating them. Tom Pidcock comes in for sixth. Good, looked good today. The Trinity man made that attack, came off the saddle onto the top tube on that descent. And he comes in sixth. Quentin Hermans from Torben Cyclocross comes in for seventh. Just 1 minute and 8 seconds down in seventh. We'll see who next in our top 10. You see the Sweeck flags sticking out to the right there. Here's Tom Mayusen. He's going to come in for eighth. Mayusen there for Group Hens Mass Containers on that Scott bike.
That's a good result for Mayusen there, coming in at eighth. You saw the excellent handling and technical ability of Tom. If you haven't seen that, where we did a game of bike, definitely go and look that up on GCN. That little embankment trick there, that's nothing for Tom Mayusen, the man that can jump 3 feet in the sky on his bike.
His bunny hops are amazing. Niels van der Putte comes in, high fives the crowd, nearly dislocates his shoulder. Happy with that one in ninth. That's a solid performance. Joris Neuvenhuis here from Sunweb is going to be 10th. So good day out for him. Dan Suter is the next rider that's coming into your picture. And Ryan Camp, yeah, the under-23 world champion.
Yep, and Toon Aerts' younger brother, Thijs Aerts, there, looking back there. That's who's coming down the finish line. So another family of crossers, just like the Sweeck brothers, the Aerts brothers there coming in. So their families are busy on the weekends.
Yeah, Thijs Aerts comes in and just ahead of Ryan Camp. And then Stan Godry is, that's the good ride there from Stan Godry.
Definitely.
And then Corne van Kessel is going to come in for 15th, and then Jens Adams is in your picture in 16th behind him. A good day's racing. I enjoyed that. Did you?
Absolutely. That was such a good race. Right from the start, Van der Haar going out there, punching it, really trying to put his stamp on this and make it a hard day's racing. As you see, this is a beautiful shot here of Laurent Sweeck taking the win for the taking his first win this year in the Superprestige, but then takes the overall with a show of consistency. Really, really great for him to be able to put that all together. As we see these rounding out the top 20 here, these riders coming in. A lot of fans out there in a windy, cold Middelkerke, although maybe not that cold, Marty. What did you say the temperature was today?
It's about 12 degrees Celsius. It's about 54 Fahrenheit today.
Hey,
so that's all right.
That's a nice day for cross. That is a nice day for some cyclocross.
Yeah, some good cross conditions today. That's some good. It's a bit windy, as you can see, but nothing too bad. Not like the UK, where we're about to get a month's rain in one day today with Storm Dennis the week after Storm Kira. That's the what apparently we're bracing ourselves for that one. You see the riders here just round by the pits, just coming in towards the finish. The mechanics already making their way back towards the team trucks. A lot of work to do after the race, Jeremy, for the mechanics. They work quite long into once it's dark at these races to get everything cleaned up, ready for tomorrow.
As you see some fans there having fun for the for that show. We also got a shot of Dylan Postier there, I think, at the going through the pit there in that last shot, Marty. But yeah, a lot of work for the mechanics to get ready for tomorrow's race. Got to get the bikes cleaned up, got to get the kits washed, got to get the camper refueled and dumped. All that stuff's got to happen. So it takes a lot of people to make, like I said earlier, someone like Lawrence Swickscheid, and I'm sure that he's no stranger to all those people. Here we go.
Is dat ook jouw gevoel achteraf?
Ik had toch wel wat moeilijk in het begin van de koers vooral. Het is een parcours, heel veel draaien en keren. En het was moeilijk voor mij om telkens opgeschoven te geraken. En als ik dan eens een plaatsje kon opschoven, dan kwamen er meestal 2 terug voorbij. Dus het schoot niet echt op, maar halverwege de koers waren we wel met de sterke renners van voor. En was het op dat vlak iets gemakkelijker koersen om vooraan te blijven.
Jij was ook wel de enige die het verschil tussen Laurens en de eerste achtervolgende groep een beetje stabiel kon houden, hè, toen jij de achtervolging probeerde in te zetten.
Ja, ik heb het wel geprobeerd om in eerste instantie om het dicht te rijden, maar dat lukte eigenlijk niet. Ik kon het wel een beetje kleiner maken, het gat, maar dan moest ik achteraf wel wat bekopen en had ik het wel even moeilijk gedurende de 2 ronden. Maar er was eigenlijk niemand bij ons in de groep die het gat dichter kon krijgen op Laurens, dus volgens mij was Laurens vandaag opnieuw heel sterk.
En voor jou persoonlijk? Goede punten gepakt in de Superprestige.
Ja, ik heb er geen idee van waar Corné en Quinten uitkwamen. Die stonden nog wel binnen handbereik, denk ik. Dus misschien ben ik nog 40 geworden. Ik heb er eigenlijk geen idee van op dit moment.
Ik ga Bram dat zo meteen in de studio laten uitrekenen en allemaal laten vertellen. Dat is belangrijker. Wel heel fijn, veronderstel ik voor jou. Je zei het al daar straks voor deze cross. Je gevoel is goed, omdat je ook heel even die tijd apart, tijd vrij hebt kunnen nemen met je blessure. En je merkt dat ook, hè? Je kan het seizoen met een heel goed gevoel afsluiten.
Ja, ondanks dat ik er toch een periode heb uitgelegen, heb ik nu toch vandaag denk ik mijn 20e podiumplaats gepakt. Op een heel seizoen is dat zeker niet zo slecht. Het is niet dat ik al 100 crossen heb gereden, dus procentueel gezien doe ik het zeker niet slecht. Maar ik merk wel dat het moeilijk is om ze te winnen. Dus misschien is dat voor volgend seizoen dan maar. Maar we hebben nog 3 kansen, dus we gaan het zeker en vast nog proberen.
Voilà, dankjewel, Ton Aert.
Tone Arts, good ride from him today, and you can see. Oh, smiling. Thanks for all your comments and your input. I'd love to see all your chat with each other. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up on our live broadcast as well. That always helps us. Make sure you subscribe to GCN Racing. There's still plenty of. There will still be plenty of Tour de la Provence to watch. If you want to join Dan Lloyd and Carlton Kirby, they're going up Mont Ventoux is the climb. Not all the way to the top because there's still snow at the top of that one. But good day. I think looking at his consistency, and I think we can hear from Lawrence Sweek. Let's go to Sweek's interview now.
Ik ben uitgekomen, hè. Gewoon winnen en dan wist ik dat ik safe was en zo rap mogelijk wegrijden eigenlijk.
Voor ons was het duidelijk, je had een absolute superdag. Was het ook jouw gevoel op de fiets?
In het begin moest ik toch een beetje ondergaan, maar stond er wel heel veel wind ook. En het was een beetje de kunst van weg te geraken en dan misschien hopen dat ze achter mij gingen kijken. Dat was een beetje wel het geval. Ik denk dat Eli en Michael uiteindelijk ook wel gezegd dat we van 1 ploeg waren uiteindelijk. Dus dat is mooi dat we het zo naar ons kunnen toetrekken.
Je zag dat jullie van 1 ploeg waren. Je kan ook gewoon zeggen dat jij er met kop en schouders bovenuit stak.
Ja, ik was zeker in orde. Ik voelde mij goed en ik denk dat Eli ook wel geprobeerd heeft voor de overwinning in het eindklassement of de dagzege. Maar hij heeft er ook al een heel aantal gewonnen. Ik ben blij dat ik nu ook nog ene kan meepakken en dan verdelen we het toch een beetje.
Waarom ben je daar zo sterk in, eenmaal je weg bent, om ook weg te blijven?
Ja, ik weet dat niet. Dat is iets dat ik van bij de jeugd eigenlijk al... toen moest ik ook dikwijls toch alleen rijden. En misschien is dat ook... soms zeggen ze tegen mij dat ik mij niet genoeg zet, mijn schouders gebruik. Maar ik heb dat in het verleden misschien te weinig moeten doen. En ja, dat zijn nu eigenlijk minpunten. Allee, dat levert mij nu eigenlijk minpunten op, maar ik denk dat ik deze seizoen zeker niet mag klagen en het is heel mooi geweest.
Het is heel mooi geweest en je hebt mij ook iets beloofd voor deze cross. Als je dit zou winnen, was er een atje voor de zweek. Dus Laurens, eentje voor jou, eentje voor mij. School en proficiat.
Gotta have a beer. Oh, look at that. Downs it in one as well.
Voila.
If that doesn't make you a fan of the Belgian fans, I don't know what will. That is so Belgian to be there, pounding a beer on the finish. That's awesome.
Do you know what? I've always been a big fan of Laurens Sweeck. There you go. Downs it in one as well. Zulu, that warrior. That was amazing, that one. Definitely.
He was psyched. What an opportunity. I mean, to be able to work, win, and then pound beer after the race, that's pretty much, I think, everyone's dream. So Laurens Sweeck definitely added a few friends on this one today.
Yeah, downs that beer in one. Nicely done there. Wins a lot of fans with that one. Let's have a look back at the highlights of today's elite men's race. And what a race it turned out to be. Tom Pidcock just on the inside there. Van Toren out alongside him. Isabet Sweeck, the leader of the series. Look at the start, though, of Laurens Sweeck. It is Lars van der Haar. They got a phenomenal start there for Telenet Baloise Alliance. Curtis White, the American, got a good start as well, but did fade as the race went on. I'm sure he'll take confidence from the start, but some work to do. But it came down to this leading group. Van der Haar led off for a lot of the race. Hermans was well up there and looking good at this point. Sweeck kicking back there on the back of the group. And then Tom Pidcock gradually riding his way up to the leaders. And then Pidcock made his move, but this was the point where it came unstuck for him. Down off the saddle, onto the top tube, loses both feet out of that one. But then once Sweeck got the front, Jeremy never really, it was really all about him.
Absolutely. Sweeck was able to just really dominate this race from the moment, from the middle. He probably looked back at Lilla, saw that the opportunity to win kind of went away from him when he had those problems, just going out too hard at the beginning, able to kind of remind himself that he is one of the best riders out there, really nail this course down and bring it all together and able to just slice it up. Not really seeing a lot of mistakes from Sweeck at all today. A lot of the other riders we saw having issues, but Sweeck kept it calm, cool, collected, and really put the entire race together from top to bottom today, Marty.
He did indeed, and he really kicked on here, did Laurens Sweeck, looking phenomenal out there, the Belgian champion in front of a home crowd. Toonarts chased well. Isabet was with him. He took some time in the middle of the race to recover. Sweeck had time to switch to that Belgian champion's sprayed Ridley bike for the finish, but this will give this man a huge amount of confidence going into the season break and into next season. A phenomenal victory. Toonarts comes in for second place for Telenet Baloise Alliance, and then Ellie Isabet right behind him for third. High fives the crowd. What a good day out there for those guys. Sweeck, got to be happy with that. As you said, Jeremy, there's a big gap between the first two in the general classification in terms of that prize purse.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. And I think Sweeck, pounding that beer, thinking about probably the bonus that he has from his sponsors, the opportunity to win that overall, how prestigious that is, to take the overall prize purse, to show a show of consistency throughout the season, take that Belgian national champ. I have to go out and say, I think this is absolutely 100% Laurens Sweeck's best season to date.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he can only build on that into next season as well. The fans are out in force waiting for the podium presentation, and as well, looking at that, Tom Pidcock in terms of the under-23 classification, he's going to be happy finishing the season as the under-23 champion.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, that attack that he laid down is just a preface and a preview of things to come for what's going to come from Tom Pidcock in the coming years and seasons. I think that attack kind of puts everyone on red alert. They didn't expect that. He had come from back, he had chased on, and then he laid down when he got there. Just the adrenaline started flowing, Marty, and he went into the red there. And as you can see, it was a spectacle. He put on a part of the show today's race that really think put everyone on the edge of their seat. For sure, for me, definitely, I'm excited for things to come and for the intensity that he brings to each weekend.
Definitely, and Hulse tomorrow for many riders. I think as that race went on, there was a few guys in there that didn't have designs on the general classification that may have thought, you know what, I might just kick back and save some legs for tomorrow.
Definitely, yeah. Tomorrow's a really fun course. If you guys haven't seen it yet, very unique, very fast, huge climb, big, fast ascent. So really cool track. I think if you haven't seen it yet, you'll definitely want to hook up the trainer or grab your coffee and sit down and watch with us.
I love the windmill at the top in Hulst as well.
Yes.
It's a really it's a very sort of really great visual course as well in terms of having that that windmill at the top. Getting in towards the last couple of races, Jeremy, now of the season, is there anyone kind of there and thereabouts that we've seen that you think needs that we can watch out for next season?
I mean, Sharon Van Androoy, obviously, but she's already there. You know, when you think about the women's side, Puck Peters, some of these younger women that are coming onto the scene, they give me a lot of excitement going into next year. With a little bit of with a little bit of more time, you know, another 6 months until we see them at the top. You know, that's going to be very interesting for me. I think on the men's side, obviously, someone like Pidcock really does kind of say a lot to me. I'm also interested in how Quinten Hermans develops after a big road season. I think that there's a lot that could come from what he's doing. You know, there's a lot of players, but as we see here, this is the podium of today's race here that we're getting, not the overall yet.
So Elisabeth on to the podium, third place for him today for Poel's Sausenbingo. And all the chat going on behind the podium. It's always good to see all that behind. You can see it's pretty windy. Tone Arts for Telenet Baloise Alliance gets a big roar of approval from the crowd. Always smiling, isn't he, Tone Arts?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say Toonarts has again, another rider we had on the podcast, but just has a great demeanor to him. You know, very, very collected, very professional, but also very solid. Like unlike someone like myself, not huge highs, you know, and really keeps it together. I think that's I would say the same for a lot of the Belgian riders. They're very even keeled. They really take a professional level to this sport, and they look at it there. I believe that is Lawrence Swick's potentially wife and son. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it is. So very cool to see them in the stands, and you can see a genuine elation smile from Lawrence Swick today.
Indeed, I saw him out. He had his little one in the trailer. He was out there on the dad duty, out on his bike with his little one in the trailer. So good to see that out there. The prizes on the podium for the riders, always great prizes. But they always have, say in Belgium, they always have some of the best trophies. They really think about their trophies in this one. But there you have it, celebrations for that man. Nice slow-mo of Laurence Swick celebrating a great victory today. He'll pose for the photos, and I'm sure they will have the presentation for the general classification at the end of this series.
This may, in fact, be Lawrence Swick's first overall of these big series. I'm not sure on that, but I'm going to definitely check that and come back tomorrow with the answer to that. But I would say that this, to my knowledge, and it's not the best, but without checking that would be a question for the result counters, but definitely something that we'll want to look up. But I do think that this could be his first elite overall classification win in one of the big three, Marty.
Yep, there's the fans, the family all around. Tom Pidcock is in the behind the podium. You caught a glimpse of Lars van der Haar. Everyone you can see wrapped up against the elements here. Tom Pidcock onto the podium, the under-23 champion for Trinity Racing, the British champion. Been been super consistent throughout the season, and he was leading kind of double the amount of points over Ben Turner and Ryan Camp, the top three in the under-23 classification. Trinity Racing had a good season. You would say the team has been has grown as the season's gone on, where the guys are behind the podium getting ready for the overall presentation. Tom makes his way off the podium, but it opened it up beautifully, didn't it, today, Jeremy? In terms of the top three overall.
Absolutely, it really did. It really did. But you can see there, Lars van der Haar super excited to be in the back there, able to come out today and just show his supporters and his fans all the hard work that he put in and really put the Telenet Balawaza team up on those blocks. I know that he's going to be very, very happy with this overall.
He is indeed. Lars van der Haar of Telenet Balawaza Lions. I know a lot of you big fans of Lars out there, always very gracious with his time as well here on GCN Racing. Always has been for interviews and things whenever we need him. Ellie Isabits back onto the podium for Paalshausen Bingo, second in the general classification in the season-long Telenet Superprestige series. And we're about to celebrate our overall winner. Here he is. Great to see the Belgian champion on the podium for the winner of the Elite Series. Overall, it was 1 point separating him from the man that stands alongside him, his teammate Eli Isabet. But on this occasion, it is him that runs out the winner of the general classification. I think the fan club's only going to grow now, Jeremy.
I think so. They definitely already have quite a crew assembled out there, but definitely with the champagne there in hand, I have a feeling that there might be some sore heads tomorrow when they wake up for Holst. They might be wondering what has happened this evening.
Yeah, from all accounts, reading like Het Nieuwsblad and the other papers, he does know how to celebrate. I think his celebrations after the Belgian Championship was quite epic from the sound of it. But there's your top three: Laurens Swing, Elisabeth, and Lars van der Haar.
Gosh, that's awesome. I actually like hearing that. That's nice. Makes them human. They can enjoy some of their hard work as well.
Well, the way he just crushed that beer, it was, yeah, you could see he knows how to celebrate, definitely.
Yeah, that reminded me. Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, phenomenal. And thanks all of you for all your chat and input. Make sure you check in tomorrow for Holst to go. You can go and watch Tour de la Provence with Dan Lloyd and Carlton Kirby. If you don't want to know what happened in the women's race, if you haven't seen that yet and you want to go and watch it on demand, then you might want to look away in 5 seconds. We're going to take a look back at the highlights of today's action. The Elite Women's Race, round 8 of the Telenet Superprestige series going into it with Celine Del Carmen Alvarado leading in the general classification from Yara Castelline. And Alvarado, the new world champion, straight down the center. Inge van der Heijden, Eva Lechner, and Shirin van Anrooy with the riders. They got the best start. The new junior world champion that is heading to Telenet Balawaza Lions for next season, led out. And she would be in some quite esteemed company as the race started to unfold. Annemarie Hurst got past her. Celine Del Carmen Alvarado behind. Little mistake from Van Anrooy. Alvarado would get back up to the leader, but it was all sorts of issues today for the world champion. Hurst could just concentrate on her race at the front. Would come down to a battle between these two. They would be joined later on in the race. This was 3 laps to go behind them as Alvarado had to dismount. So it looked like the point where she damaged her shoe. Denise Betzemer was gradually closing the gap down. It was a swift shoe change for Alvarado into the pits. One shoe off, shoe back on. and it was a super quick change. She would recover and again make it back up to the leaders. The two riders that really have gone head to head on countless occasions so far this season. Would it come down to a battle between them, or could Denise Betsema spoil the party at the front into the home straight? And Alvarado got the front, got the feet back in. She has had the measure of the 777 rider behind her over the last few races, including the World Championships. Alvarado kicked on while Betsema had momentum to come past Worst for second, but the day, the victory, and the series overall belonged to Celine Del Carmen Alvarado. The elite men's race, just 1 point separating Laurens Sweeck and Ellie Isabet in the general classification. Lars van der Haar of Telenet Bauer's Alliance third with 64 points, but he was going to be challenged hard by Quentin Hermans and Corne van Kessel. Toonart still not out of contention for the overall podium. It was van der Haar, the Dutchman, that got the best start, and an elite leading group forming at the front. They would later be joined by Tom Pidcock. Lap 2, it was still van der Haar at the front. He was swapping off with Quentin Hermans. Sweeck, the Belgian champion and series leader overall, was tailing the group. The British champion Pidcock got up to the front group, but on a descent, going down super hot. The feet came out for Pidcock, and that was the end of his attack. Sweeck got the front. Isabet was chasing hard behind with van der Haar and Toonart, but the Belgian champion would kick on through the sand. He had the forward motion and the momentum, and once he got the front, he never looked back. Lap 4 of 9, it became a time trial for the Belgian champion, still hunting for his first elusive victory in that Belgian champion's jersey. He was looking good for it in the final round here in Middelkerke. The battle for the podium spots overall behind. Van der Haar was looking good, so was Toonart, while Michael van Torenau and Ellie Isabet were playing the dutiful teammates to the series leader overall. The final lap, Sweeck was riding away to victory. Arts was managing to distance Ellie Isabet for the second spot on the podium, cleanly through the sand and up the next bank into the pits for a final bike change. It was on to the Belgian champion's bike for Sweeck. He rode down the finishing straight for the victory here in Middelkerke, the Noordzeecross and the general classification. The winner all the way, Laurens Sweeck, while behind him Toonart crossed the line for second. Ellie Isabet, phenomenal season for the Poel bingo rider, crossed the line in third. Great day out.
Thank you, Marty.
It's great when you look at it condensed like that, isn't it?
I mean, everybody save a lot of time if they just want to watch the highlights, but you do such a good job going through them that it's, you know, why would you watch the whole thing? I think it was great overall. It was such a good race. I enjoyed every minute of this one, so it was really great to be able to watch both the women's and the men's race. The men just really throwing down today. They felt like supercharged, so much on the line.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. We're back tomorrow for Hulst. You can join Dan Lloyd and Carlton Kirby if you want to for the Tour de la Provence from Jeremy Powers and myself, Mike McDonald. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.